Hailing frequencies are open, everybody. Welcome to Clear Skies, our Star Trek RPG live play here on QueueTimes, and we are doing this remotely again. This is our second game session of our one-shot that we started up last week. What did we name this again? Was it Graduation Day, I believe, on the suggestion of DJ Phoenix, I believe it was, is the name of our episode.
Space Camp!
Space Camp. Oh, that would have been a good one, too. That would have been a really good one. Yeah, I could see that. This is, of course, a one-shot that we're doing as a way of testing out the technical aptitudes that we all require in order to do this sort of remote streaming so that we can jump back into our Clear Skies campaign. And I would say it's going pretty well. And I want to thank everyone so much for their patience while we test out this new format as we take social distancing very freaking seriously. And we hope you are all healthy and doing the same. Before we jump into tonight's episode, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to get to tonight? Does anybody have any announcements they want to make? It's kind of a funny question. What's up?
Yeah, so this Friday is LA by Night's second epilogue of the season, and it will feature myself and Alex Ward. So it's a Jasper and X epilogue. Very, very exciting, and it was a ton of fun to shoot. So that's coming up this Friday, 8 p.m. on the World of Darkness Twitch channel. And then I stream from my Twitch channel on Mondays and Tuesdays in the afternoon.
Right
I'm
on.
just doing music, yo. Yeah. Follow my socials, eh?
I'm just being Bonnie. That's what I do.
That's what I do.
Xander, I guess you're doing a lot of vampire-related epilogues this particular weekend, then?
That's right. I don't know how much I can say.
Coming soon. I think we might get to expect you.
To QueueTimes, you might see a few Long Beachy epilogues that a certain pander might make an appearance in.
Real quick, before we move on to any other announcements, I just wanted to go ahead and take this moment to give a big shout out and love to the League of Whimsy, who really came through this week and helped me orchestrate a devastating bomb of happiness on one Sam Delev, like absolutely destroyed them. Complete and utter annihilation. And I just wanted to thank you for that apocalyptic love bomb that got detonated over the residents of Sam Delev. And as you can see, Sam is handling it very well. I think they're doing very well. See, aren't you happy you have hair right now, Sam, so you can just jerk on it and just like pull and like tug?
I can hide behind it almost. I'm almost there. It's growing out.
So yes, so wanted a big thank you to the League of Whimsy, who did some crazy cool shit. And if you wanted to say anything, Sam, this is a good moment. But yeah, you look like you want to say something.
Thank you so much. I love you all so much. You're wonderful. How dare you? And I'm very impressed by the quality of the intelligence operation.
That being said, on top of the coolness that happened with the League of Whimsy, for those of you who may not know, the League of Whimsy is orchestrated by some of us. We came up with the idea of securing Sam a Nintendo Switch, and the I guess the spillover, because we raised way more money than I thought we were going to raise in just like 10 minutes. The spillover went to supporting the Streampunks. So the League of Whimsy this week gave the Streampunks a big tip, and I just wanted to give everyone a huge thank you for that, for supporting our group, especially in this really tricky time. It means a lot to us, a whole lot to us.
You've got us. Yay!
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Rafe, by the way, I got a big tip for you. I'll get that to you later, but I'm completely distracted by watching Bonnie and Xander take this the wrong way, and I'm gonna just switch off of that.
We're just gonna go into mute. I was gonna be like, thank you though. Thank you, friends.
Yeah, so big thanks to the League of Whimsy. Does anybody else have any other announcements tonight before we jump into our story, our one shot?
Yes, real quick, speaking of the League of Whimsy, we did receive in our P.O. box a giant care package for everybody from Not Always Weak and Loafweir on Twitter. So thank you so much. I will send a copy of this letter to everybody to read.
And I'll do a special delivery of Tim Tams in a social distancing safe way.
She's going to chuck them through the...
You chuck them through the window. Everybody talk!
It'll be like 4:30 in the morning, and through my window in my room, just smashing through.
Again?
I think without any further ado, unless there's any other announcements.
Hi, yes. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. I've been excited all week, and now I get to play with all of you again. And these adorable spy kids, and I'm excited.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Clear Skies. I'm assuming Jake has told us we're clear. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready to jump into tonight's episode. It's going to be a doozy because we are in the middle of a daring escape as I'm pulling open my notes here to get ready for this. As you all know from playing, our experiences in playing in both Shield of Tomorrow and now Clear Skies, it's very rare where we find ourselves in deadly situations where combat is exploding all around us. However, our intelligence kids tonight find themselves in a very dangerous predicament. They are in a holodeck, being hunted by a being that has projected itself through time into a photonic body and can jump from one hologram to the next. Safety protocols have been deactivated, and it's here specifically to assassinate the entire party. They've been warned by Daniels, a member of the Temporal Defense Initiative who has come back through time disguised as a member of Starfleet Intelligence to warn these cadets that they are being targeted for death. In order not to disrupt the timeline, they're having to play this by a very specific set of rules. Essentially, they're being beamed into a holodeck to go through what will become, or what was meant to be, their Kobayashi Maru's test, because tomorrow is actually graduation day. And this was supposed to be a surprise test. Daniels, of course, let you all know that this was coming and that it was not going to go the way it was normally supposed to go. A Klingon prison break. 6 intelligence officers breaking out of a Klingon prison in a holodeck. Now, normally it's meant to be a shock and awe situation with cadets. You're beamed in from your bedroom while you were sleeping the day before graduation and thrown into this scenario after a quick briefing from your intelligence commander. What your intelligence commander does not know is that the safety protocols have been secretly dismantled on this particular program, and that the creature that is attempting to kill all of you, if you remember the name, is the Cyratex, for whatever reason, is inside this holodeck right now with all of you. Now, Daniels doesn't know exactly who the Cyratex are, just that the Temporal Defense Initiative has been tracking them and has been following their incursions into our timeline. And one of the things they discovered, their very first incursion, was attempting to use a biological life form as a type of bomb by planting it in one of the warp cores of a newly minted experimental Galaxy-class variant, also known as the USS Ross. What the Cyratex probably don't know is that not only was this biological life form that was meant to function as a sort of a bomb in the warp core, not only was it dismantled, but that the crew named it, what was it, Pickle? What did you guys end up naming that thing?
Pickle.
Pickle.
Dill.
Dill.
Dill pickle.
They don't know that you named this life form Dill and then beamed it onto a comet, or like to find its own way in the universe. You gave it a happy ending. It reminds me of the bowl of petunias in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just like, be free, my friend.
That's my crew, thank you.
Back on Earth, though, things are a little bit more dangerous. Whatever is going on, the Cyratex has targeted you all for its next temporal incursion. The Temporal Defense Initiative is trying to understand what the objective here and why. All they know is that y'all are the targets and it has to be stopped. Daniels has told all of you that he will do what he can, disguised as a Starfleet intelligence officer operating outside of this holodeck. He's going to try to exert what influence he can, but he's made it very clear, no matter what happens, this Cyratex has to be stopped. It's top priority. And everything else, nothing else matters. While this thing is here, while they can kill it, while they can get it now, get it now. It's unusual to get a kill order like this, but you've been forced into a situation where it's you or this creature. And that's been made very clear, because when we last left off, you had just popped open the door to your prison cell after killing one of the Klingons. Of course, this is all on holodeck. After our Vulcan friend shot a bolt of disruptor energy through the chest of a Klingon. And as you were all beginning to stage your escape and convincing the Klingon that was actually in the cell with you to join in the escape, this jackal mastiff, this vicious animal that Klingons love to have, particularly in prison facilities as sort of enforcer pets, suddenly started registering on your data pad that it was in fact being possessed by the Cyratex. It was an anomalous holographic reading, and it lunged. And that is where we're picking up tonight's episode. The creature lunges, and as it lunges right at you, Jatar. As you are the closest one to it, you do have a disruptor in your hand. I'm going to go ahead and rule that this thing is going to get an attack on you.
Especially because I was currently in conversation or ordering the Klingon that was in the prison cell to accompany us.
Right, that's right. You guys were actually in the middle of a conversation. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make a melee check on you. So this is melee, by the way. So you will get to roll in defense to defend yourself from this creature as it is attacking you. So do you need a quick run through of exactly what you need to roll?
That would be great. I have the cheat sheet with me, but to go over just...
For ranged attacks, it's daring, it's control security difficulty 2. For melee attacks, it's daring plus security, and the difficulty is always 1. He's going to be rolling the same difficulty. He's got to beat a difficulty of 1. When the two of you roll, the rolls are compared, and whoever has the most hits basically succeeds in the roll. And but if you win, if you actually get the most hits, you will actually be able to physically attack the creature instead. So melee in Star Trek Adventures happens simultaneously. It's very deadly, it's very quick. So this thing is going to lunge at you, and you, just so you know, you are also going to be rolling your daring security check.
Would I be able to use bold security to give you a threat to add a die to this?
Yes, absolutely.
I was also going to ask if I could assist by sensing psychically and being like, it's in that.
I would say about the same time that you are getting the indication from Azari, from our Andorian, who's, yeah, I'm still learning character names because, these are the first times around. But Cyril,
right.
So Sam, clear this up real quick. Do we want to go by Cyril or is it Cyril?
Cyril. The name is Cyril.
Cyril.
If you have a name like that, this is inevitable. And you can either get angry every single time, or you can be selectively angry when it's socially advantageous. What?
You're an Andorian, so being angry is totally in your blood. All right, so yes, you're going to give me a threat, and you're going to get an extra die on this. I'm not going to spend threat. I'm just going to make a roll here, because I want to generate stuff. So, here we go. So it's daring security. Tell me what you get. Difficulty is 1. Oh.
I have 1 success.
You beat it. It didn't get any successes. This thing lunges at you, and as you can see, this jackal mastiff's maw just open wide as it throws itself in your direction. You can almost hear like a gurgling sound in the back of its throat as it throws itself towards you. You actually manage to raise your arms up. What do? You get to make an attack.
With this, I would like to actually put my bold security into practice, and I'm going to use that to re-roll one of these to see if I get a success.
Okay.
I do. So with that, I'm also going to spend one of our momentum, and I'm going to use Vulcan's strength to catch both parts of the jaw and the top part of the snout, and sort of hold it there, steady.
Okay, so you're gonna grapple it, basically.
Yeah, but in doing this, I will drop the disruptor.
Okay, so the disruptor clatters to the ground. So in another demonstration of incredible Vulcan strength, you manage to seize this thing out of the air as it's lunging at you and grab hold of its jaws. Now, it becomes apparent to you pretty fast that the danger here, Jatar, isn't that you're stopping this jackal mastiff that has been possessed from biting you. You're actually fighting a hologram, and it's not behaving like the biological creature that a jackal mastiff might be. In other words, this is becoming a little harder than you expected. You watch this creature lunge at Jatal, and Jatal catches it in the air, and he's holding with all of his might, literally holding this thing up as it flails and snarls and squirms in your grasp.
You hear from Jatar, I require assistance.
This huge thing is just roaring and growling.
All right, can I attack the creature? As I'm probably also near it since I opened the door.
It's your turn, so any of you guys can go. If you want to go ahead and move up there, it's a minor action to move, and then you can make an attack.
I've had my hand held up for like the last 2 minutes, and I really would like to say something.
Sure.
Sorry. I actually noticed that because Jatar just spent to gain a die, he can roll for an effect because he has untapped potential.
That's a good point.
I think that I might have canceled with the Vulcan strength as an ability, but I can if you'd like me to.
I mean, either way, you've got this thing grappled. So I think the effect is that you wanted to basically hold it, correct? Yeah, I'll give that.
And the roll is for bonus momentum, not.
It's okay.
We get
You
threat if
generate
an
bonus
effect is rolled. Yeah,
Right.
It's to roll momentum. Yeah.
So it rolled no successes, and you only rolled 1 success. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, I actually bumped it to 2 successes with the spend from the bold security.
Oh, okay. So then, did you generate a momentum there for everybody to know about?
Yes, we're back up to 4.
Okay, cool. Everybody's at 4 momentum. So, what were you? You were actually in the middle of taking an action there, Inver?
Yeah, I would like to. I don't have a gun or anything, but I would like to attempt to nerve pinch this creature.
Okay,
So
cool.
at least we can drop it so that someone can pick up the disruptor.
I've never seen this. I've always wanted to see a Vulcan nerve pinch a jackal mastiff.
We'll see.
Okay. So, dashing forward, go ahead. You're gonna make your control security check. I'm sorry. This is a daring security check.
Let me check. Says you may use science or medicine instead of security when attempting a nerve pinch attack and may increase damage. Doesn't say what the first one is.
Doesn't say what the first one is?
Okay.
Okay.
It just says it counts as a melee attack, so whatever
That's
melee
fine.
attack is.
Okay, cool. I think you get to use science in place of security. That's what you were saying? All right, so go ahead and make your roll.
If I want to.
Yeah. This thing is not going to be able to resist you. It's a difficulty 0 on this. Because Xander's got it grappled. So Jatal has this thing grappled up in its arms right now, and it's already taken its attack action.
Great. Can I possibly Since I know nerve pinch, can I also take my focus of knowing where the weak link is? The weak link of the nerve in the neck?
Sure. I think
Cool.
I would rationalize that by saying that Inver, knowing that she was going into this combat situation, probably studied up all of the creatures that are likely to be found inside of a Klingon prison, and then did a quick once-over of what their nerves looked like their biology scans and whatnot, knowing you are a Vulcan and basically a walking computer. So go ahead. Yeah, I let that
Thank
apply.
you very much.
Mm-hmm. Tell me what you get. This is a good generation of momentum.
3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, so generate 3 momentum. And that is definitely going to land it. So is that going to immediately give it a stun-like injury? It's a knockdown. What does it do specifically? I think it actually removes him from combat. I think that settles his score basically. If I remember correctly, nerve pinch it
says incapacitate assailants.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. So lunging forward, you have a quick moment of doubt, Inver, as you're lunging forward because you're not entirely sure how this is going to behave. It's a hologram. You're not entirely sure if it's going to follow the rules when you land the right maneuver here, when you land the Vulcan nerve pinch. But as you lunge forward and grab hold of it, you see Jatar, you see your Vulcan friend lunging forward and grabbing hold of this creature at the base of its neck and just gently pressing at the right spot. And sure enough, the rules of the holodeck seem to be in appliance, because even though the creature that is possessing this is still lashing out and struggling, the hologram itself seems to obey the law that has been written for it, and the body begins to go limp. However, you see a rippling effect in the hologram itself. It's almost as if the life form inside is fighting against the computer program that is telling it what the laws are in this particular physical realm. And then it ultimately results in sort of this flickering effect that you see from the Jackal Mastiff. And Jatar, as you're holding it, it begins to lose its consistency in your fingertips. And all of you watch this Jackal Mastiff just kind of blink for a second and then scatter like photons everywhere, just like light just bursts. And there's a wave in the air, there's like a distortion, and it's gone. And you no longer detect the presence of this creature.
Doctor, scan for the Serotax. There is no doctor. That's not you.
I was like, who are you talking to?
Doctor.
I'm no doctor. Damn it, Jim!
Cyril.
Yep, I'm on it.
Okay.
Can I check? Are we out of combat in that situation?
Yes, right now you're out of combat.
Great. Then can I move down the hallway to see if we've attracted any other attention?
Sure. So you slide out into the hallway, stepping over the corpse of this dead Klingon. By the way, the Klingon in your prison cell is reacting to the death of this Jackal Mastiff with shock and alarm. Reacting as a creature might if something burst into light in front of them for no reason. Kind of mutters something in Klingon and stares at the 2 Vulcans in shock. But he seems a little more animated now that he's seen this happen.
That's good to know. I want to do one glance down the hall, then just to be like, is anyone else coming? Did anyone else hear a Jackal Mastiff just, explode into light?
So the alarms in the facility are going off. So as you step into this hallway, the first thing that happens is you're getting a good look at how dark and dreary these Klingon prison facilities are. It's not very bright in here. Just like strips of light slashing through all of these shadows that are cast across the hallways. And the temperature, of course, is quite warm. But the one thing that you do notice is you are seeing shadows of guards running across hallways. You don't see any physical bodies just yet, but you do see and hear what sounds like lots of footsteps, lots of running, lots of shouting, like more people are coming soon. Lots of prisoners running up to their bars and putting their hands around it to see what's going on.
Okay, so I want to go back to our Klingon buddy who's been living in this place with us. And I turn to him and I look and I say, "Looks like we're your best way out of here."
He stares at you for a long moment and then just goes, "Yes."
Well,
Yes.
glad we're on the same page then. Now, in that case, how long have you been in here?
You ask him how long he's been in here?
Yeah.
I do not know.
Do
Years,
you remember
maybe.
the way they brought you in?
Yes.
Great. Because we're going to need to use that as like our bird's eye view. Cyril, how is that check looking?
In fact, not what Cyril is focused on.
What are you
So
focused
Cyril
on?
is going to be making their way out of the cell and toward a panel, because before the Jackal Mastiff, there were the alarms.
Mm-hmm.
And redirecting that correctional energy is my primary focus at this moment. So I want to get out of the cell, try to find a wall panel, try to start finding some controls that I can interface with and send them in a wrong direction. Buy us a little bit of time.
Okay. Moving over to the wall panel, you're able to connect with this thing. Like I said, the technology that's down here, it is not up to par. What you get from this prison complex is it probably looks like it has not been updated in decades. So the moment you move over to this panel, it has a very, for lack of a better way of describing it, Star Trek analog kind of look. Like it kind of looks like maybe TOS Star Trek panel, like a Klingon version of this sort of like very like minimalistic button, like maybe 3 buttons on this thing that kind of functions as an alarm sounder. It doesn't take much to try to connect to this. You're gonna use your data pad to try to break in, or are you trying to pop the panel open specifically? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'd like to use my data pad to break in, because that's gonna be more advantageous. It's Federation technology.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll then. This is going to be a control security check.
Yes, it is.
Because the technology is kind of antiquated, the difficulty is only going to be 1. So this is another good opportunity to build some momentum. And your focuses, of course, will totally apply here, because this is literally what Cyril does. So tell me what you get.
Four.
Okay. So
that's a 3 net momentum in.
Bank 3 momentum. You guys should be maxed out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it takes just a few moments as you are doing that. So while you're doing this, what is everybody else doing?
And for what it's worth, I'm going to be using that to create an advantage.
Okay.
So I am going to take 2 of those momentum, 1 of the bonus overflow, because I think that put us at 7. So we will be down to 5, spending 2 momentum to create an advantage in dealing with these systems in future.
So then this is what I'm going to do.
I think we're way over for momentum.
I think that's what Sam was saying, that you actually have an overflow. So they're going to spend momentum to create an advantage. So here's what I'm going to do, Sam. I'm going to allow that to become a trait for the scene. And I'm going to apply Confusion 1 to the Klingon guards. So now they're going to have an increased difficulty to locate you guys specifically where you're at, because you're futzing with the computer systems. You've basically thrown off where this alarm was sounded, and you're sending it like bouncing, like there's another alarm going off somewhere else in the facility, and it stops, and then another alarm goes off somewhere else.
At least 3 of them are fire alarms, but one of them is gas alarm? Who knows?
So in order to locate you guys, it's going to be, and if you ever get into a big combat situation with more than 1, I'm going to give them an increased difficulty. So I'll apply Confusion 1, and I will be required to spend Threat to remove that trait from the scene. You guys, what is everybody else doing while Cyril is doing this? Do you all have any other actions you want to take before we get into it?
Well, now that I know we're about to leave the cell and go further down to make our escape, I would like to go off a little farther and use my constantly watching mixed with a little bit of telepath to kind of feel around the other prisoners around us, our little Klingon friend with. I'm just trying to see who am I consciously picking up on. I know the 5 of them well, so I know how they feel, and so I'm trying to just kind of pinpoint any other being around.
Right. You're basically trying to you're sonar pinging like
Exactly. Seeing if there's anything close.
So I have an ominous question to ask you, Bonnie.
Yes.
I need to know how far Cadix wanders away from the party.
That's always a great question.
Yes, it is.
There's no other way to ask it. I need to know
She's
how
actually
far
she's pretty bold. I think she would go pretty much down to the end of the corridor, just to kind of being like the watchdog in the front.
Okay.
Yeah, the scout. That works.
Okay, so you're going to make your way down there. So the good news on that end, as you are moving down the corridor, is that everyone is still behind the bars, and because Cyril was able to successfully confuse the Klingon guards, you're actually not in any immediate danger. There's no one around you, and there's no hologram that can get to you right now. The prisoners that are in their cells are watching you as you move. You don't sense anybody else in this corridor right now.
All right. Well, that's nice.
Rave, did you want to do something? I thought I saw you raising your hand there.
Yes, I would. I mean, does this Klingon look like he's gonna give me this information willingly about just like the way he came through, like what he thinks is the best escape plan, or the fastest way out, I guess?
Why don't you make a command presence roll?
Great. Buddy, we're your only ways out of this. Okay. That's what I say to him.
So make a
command presence.
Make a command presence roll. The difficulty here is going to be 2.
Great, because I got 2.
You nailed it. So you're asking him how far out, how do we get out of here, basically, or? Well,
no, I'm asking him to try and recount the path in which he was like brought in. I mean, like me looking at him and saying, how do we get out of here, and getting a like coherent answer seems OP. So I'm just gonna say, I would like him to tell us how he got, like, what his path in was. Like, was he brought in by a bunch of guards? Like, from what hallways did he take? Can he remember right, left, right? Anything.
Right, okay. I am literally going to have him roll.
Great! What does he remember from being dragged in here?
I'm going to do an insight security check for him to see if he actually remembers.
Cool.
I want you guys to see what I rolled, because it's just too funny.
Oh no! Funny for us or funny for you?
I rolled.
Oh. Aww. Both.
The signature special.
Perfect.
So he goes, I remember. I remember. Yes.
All right.
I think I remember.
Well then, I'm actually surprised they kept you alive. Usually Klingons aren't this lucky.
He just raises his chin.
Oh, buddy. Well, my friend out here is gonna scout, and if you could tell her the way, that would be much appreciated.
This way. And he starts shuffling out through the door. Anybody else doing anything? Because at about this point, we're gonna have Cyril's gonna be wrapping it up. So yeah, what do you got for me? Donnin?
Yeah, I just wanted to grab the disruptor and basically stay on everybody's 6.
Okay, cool. You snatch up the disruptor.
I would like to gesture to Lieutenant Donnan. I noticed them pick up the disruptor and have them follow as like you go between me and the Klingon, I'll catch your back. Because you don't got to worry about me, you got to worry about the person who's free right now in front of us kind of deal. So without words, just kind of give you the like look of like, you can go ahead if you want to like watch the Klingon hologram in front of us. Cool. Okay. And so I follow behind them.
Knowing each other for these past 6 years, you've picked up on all of each other's signals. So Donnan, as you begin to move past this Vulcan, you look over at her and she just gives you a slight quirk of the eyebrow and a nod, and you know exactly what she's telling you. You're able to just kind of give a quick nod back at Invar as you move out into the hallway. The Klingon is in front of you. It looks like he's looking around. It also looks like this is probably his first time out of the cell in a while. So he's kind of like glancing left and right at some of the other cells. But you can tell also by the way he's walking, he may not be in the best physical shape. He's looking around. You guys are you're keeping the disruptor kind of somewhat lowered so as not to be too obvious. And now that is when Cyril's alarm shenanigans take place. So moving forward, from this moment forward, the Confusion 1 trait is now applied to the scene. And it only applies to the Klingon guards. You guys have an open corridor, and at the end of the corridor, amongst all like the shadows and everything that you see running around, you see Lieutenant Cadix actually kind of nodding to everybody. The Betazoid letting everyone know that she's not feeling anybody else in the vicinity. There's no emotional presence here, which is somewhat comforting because Cyril, your data pad is also not picking up the presence of this photonic being, which kind of leaves everyone wondering where the hell this thing is.
Tar sort of motions back to Cyril and starts speaking with him. I noticed that you were able to change the alarm that is being sounded. Are you able to access the program of the hologram itself, or is it still playing within the physics of the world?
Well, for that one, I was just working within the narrative fiction of the hologram setup. I was hacking Klingon technology. I haven't tried to get into the hologram layer yet. It's going to be a harder crack. We're going to need to let me sit for a bit of time if we want me to work on that sort of thing.
Perhaps it might be advantageous for us to work on a holographic camouflage of sorts. We could play by the rules of the holographic program and wouldn't have to change our physical appearances, but merely seem as though we are part of the program as well.
If we can get somewhere long enough to post up, there are a whole manner of things that I think I can do that would help. But we have to get somewhere that's secure first, and being in the middle of a hallway with entrances and exits is not the best one.
Understood.
All right, so what do y'all do?
Tatar will immediately start sweeping to look for a secure area.
Yeah, I was gonna ask our Klingon friend to see if he knew where the wardens hung out. Like, do they have some sort of...
Warden? No, I've not seen the warden. Only guards come down here. This is where they keep those who are intended to be executed or starved to death.
That's pleasant. Do they have isolation?
I think this is isolation. What were you saying, Gina?
Lieutenant Thran, you spent all night studying these facilities. Do you have any recollection of a architectural room that might be more advantageous than this one?
Do I, Eric?
I can assist with this. I'm quite knowledgeable in architecture.
Yeah, I would say that would probably be an insight command check.
Great. Insight command.
Or I will take security as well.
It's the same for both.
Same with you?
So.
Okay, cool. So the difficulty here is 1.
Great.
Just to recall what you read.
Am I assisting in any way?
Yeah, go ahead and make your check too. So, Invar, I think for you, this would be an insight. This would either be an insight engineering or an insight. I would actually allow an insight science on this.
I'll go with insight engineering since I'm specifically helping from a architectural standpoint.
Okay.
I got 1 success.
Okay, let's see if we can get some momentum. Although y'all are maxed out, so you got 1 extra momentum. So you're maxed out, so you can shuffle that momentum and spend it right now for an obtain information check or anything else you want to do.
Yeah, I think the obtain information check, I would love to know what... So I'd love to know what room we're looking for, and then also what, like, the holding capacity for that room is.
Okay.
So, like, just usually how many guards hang out in that room.
You sit there and you're trying to focus on the things that you studied the night before, and as you're going through it in your mind, you start remembering that about maybe 80 meters from here, down one of these corridors, is a very large room that functions as a really shifty barracks. for some of the guards that have to stay in the lower levels of this prison area. It's possible, considering the alarms are gone off, that the barracks is probably empty right now, as guards have probably been dispatched elsewhere across the facility.
I turn to my Klingon friend and I say, when you see guards come down this hallway, what direction do they come from?
They usually come from the left. When I look out from the bars, they're coming from the left. And when he says that, he's pointing in the direction of your Betazoid, Lieutenant Cadix, who's at the end of the hallway looking at everyone as they're getting ready to move out.
Wonderful. Most likely the barracks that we're looking for, that is probably the best place to hole up, is in that direction then. And I tell that to the crew.
Okay.
I concur.
All right. You guys move out? All right. You guys begin to move out. As you reach the end of the corridor, Cyril, you get a chirping noise on your data pad.
All right. And Patty, what you got for me?
It's not the alert that you were expecting to hear. Instead, what you see is text appearing on the data pad. It reads, "This is Daniels. Am I connected?"
Copy, we have connection. What's the status outside?
No one suspects anything yet, but be careful what you say. You can be heard in the command center.
Understood. I'll huddle
Everybody
everyone
stumbles
up,
over.
and I will just show them the pad, sort of
Okay.
blocking with my body the notion of there's a sensor in the holodeck that will act as its own sort of camera that I'm going to be body blocking.
Okay.
Because, they have visuals from some angle or another, but they don't have them from right over me.
Okay.
I think
Sounds
that
good.
when this little huddle happens, Donovan is only kind of halfway paying attention. Instead, they're keeping their eyes up and making sure that nobody's coming, like unexpectedly.
As long as you see the words, that's all good. That's all Sarah has to really say. But they do pass it along non-verbally.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, everyone is basically now informed of this information. And you are also now all aware that you are in contact with Daniels. You're not sure where he is, but he's obviously watching and trying to help. At the end of this hallway, you can hear the shouting and the loud noises of a lot of movement that the Cadix was hearing when she got to the end of the hallway. Left and right look exactly the same. There are these long shadow-slashed corridors, darkened with red light where it does have light at all. And you can see rows upon rows of these bars and creatures from varying races putting their hands against them. Some of them are pressing their faces against the bars to try to get as much of a look to see what the hell is going on as possible. But you can only barely just make out that these creatures are in the facility itself. You're actually getting closer. Now that you're at the end of the corridor, you're a little bit closer to the fact that you are nearer to a more populated area. And kind of like in the movie Aliens, which I know you haven't seen, Sam, but kind of like in the movie Aliens, you get a subtle alert, like chirp sound that indicates that in the vicinity of where you guys are, there is a photonic anomaly taking place. Beep, beep, beep.
We better move quickly.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Really?
Left.
What an amazing, not coincidence, I suppose our paths are starting to connect as we've been hanging out more. Never mind, let's go.
Just one thing. I look over my shoulder at our Klingon friend and I look back. The Cyratax can jump between different holograms. We don't want to keep this guy with us for too long.
I've been obviously keeping my sonar, I guess, on, you could call it. Like, I've been focusing my mind
The mental
to where
data.
I'm not getting anything from our Klingon friend now, right?
Not at the moment.
Yeah. Well, Cyril, we can always say to keep our friends close, but our enemies closer. At least with this one, we can have a close eye on him.
Or we can minimize the potential attack vectors to a delicate system. Just a thought, just putting it out there for consideration.
We do need to end the target, Cyril, remember. We cannot finish this program without that part of our mission.
Can we isolate the target with us in a barracks?
Honeypot. Yeah.
Let's get to that barracks fast. I don't like the way that thing is beeping.
All right, now, since you're at the end of the hall, you actually don't know which corridor left or right to take. But you do, actually, no, that's not right, because you would actually know that from the roll that you just made. So you would actually know that right left is the direction you need to go.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, right.
So, okay. As you guys start dashing down the hallway right, I am going to spend 2 threat. And I'm activating a new trait to the scene, which is shifting landscape trait. And as y'all are moving down the corridor, all of a sudden, the corridor begins to change. It begins to go flicker. First, it looks like the holodeck itself is experiencing a malfunction. And as it's flickering, almost as if a panic alarm is being set off, you actually hear chirping through your data pad, Cyril. Daniel's trying to get a hold of you. Just as you watch this corridor begin to like flicker and shift and light starts coming through. And all of a sudden, in a quick blink, there's that sort of hushed sound that the holodeck makes when it loads a program. And it's just this whoosh. And now, in a shocking like moment that kind of jars all of you, you are underneath a blazing sun in a desert. No walls around you at all. Sand all from miles and miles everywhere.
God, I hate sand.
The temperature is scorching hot. It's that level of heat where your body is no longer able to actually understand how hot it is. But you can feel its impact on your bodies instantly. Echoing the sentiments that Daniel's told you that the safety protocols of the holodeck are no longer functioning. The entire hallway vanishes, and you are just in this desert with roaring winds and sand blasting all about you.
Well, I don't remember.
By the way, has vanished. As your situation shifts dramatically.
I would like to make a roll to see where the hell are we, because this wasn't part of the rules.
All right. Go ahead and...
it doesn't have to be like a specific planet. Like I want to use my like a head on a swivel focus, basically.
It is in fact a specific planet, however.
Well, let's see if I know that.
So, go ahead and make a... This would be an insight command check for you, and it's going to be difficulty 0. So this is another opportunity to generate momentum if you've got it.
Okay. Can I use my head on a swivel?
Sure.
Talent?
Yeah.
I would like to buy a die, just to help build us some momentum, just in case.
Okay.
Three successes.
Welcome to Vulcan. You are in the southern hemisphere of Vulcan, and it becomes apparent to you because all of you, as you're feeling the heat pressing down on you, for those of you who are not Vulcan and who are not familiar with actually being on this planet,
I'm not.
Right, that's right. For those of you who are not originally from Vulcan, it takes you a moment to realize that oppressive heat is actually the reason why it feels like it's weighing you down is because the gravity here is much higher than it is on Earth. You guys can feel the pressure just like pushing down on all of you. You can actually feel like your bones, your limbs, everything just weighs just a little bit more. It's kind of like punishing along with the heat blaring down on you. Vulcan's southern hemisphere, there are certain areas, as some of y'all know, Vulcan is an arid world. It's very desert, very rocky, mostly all over the planet. There are some parts of the world where the deserts get quite deadly. And the wildlife on Vulcan is also quite deadly. You guys are out here in the middle of nowhere, but you would know this planet just from the moon that you see in the sky, the large planet that you see in the sky. and the sort of the sunset that's taking place. It's easy to identify what planet this is for you.
Do I still?
Oh, go ahead.
Do I still have my disruptor?
No. It vanished right out of your hands.
I look straight at Lieutenant Jatar and just say, it's much warmer and oppressive than I ever thought it would be.
Well, if this hologram is following the rules, I'm going to spend 2 momentum to create an advantage, and I'm going to look down at the sand, and I'm looking for something specific. It's a survival technique, and so once I find that, I'm going to sort of punch down and find a sort of small spring that comes through. It's very like kind of rare type of thing, but if you know the signs to look for, you can sort of punch down far enough into the desert sand to create a sort of well.
Okay. That's cool. If you want, you can just spin to make an advantage. Are you trying to basically change something up to give you advantage for the scene?
Yeah, it's basically just showing a survival technique because this is where Jatar is from.
Okay,
So
I don't
this
want
is-
you to spend momentum on that then. I would just say roll. This would be a reason science check.
Oh, great. Okay. And then, yep.
I would also accept security too.
Oh, that would be better.
Yeah, you can do security. Reason security works. That's sort of like a survival roll.
Ooh, doesn't matter. I got a crit and another success, so 3 successes total.
Okay, so difficulty was only gonna be 1 anyway. So stabbing your hands down into the sand like a spear, it takes you a few moments, but you begin to find a trademark like damp sand that is maybe like it takes you a little bit to like sort of jam your hands down into the sand. It's scorching hot, but after you get past that surface, it actually becomes quite cool. Eventually, you do find sort of like this muddy atmosphere. As you were all watching your Vulcan friend dig his hand into the sand, you end up seeing some movement around his arm, and then the sand surface begins to bubble a little bit, and you see the spurt of water just burst up like just around your forearm area. How he knew how to do that, you don't know, but there it is. Water comes
I also
bubbling up.
take some of the mud that is being created and start spreading it on my skin, and I say, we need to protect your skin from as much exposure as possible. This is very dangerous, and we do not have the safeties.
You hear at that point, as he's applying this, all of you are hearing over a comm. You hear, "Attention, cadets in the holodeck. We're experiencing some difficulties with your test. We're going to terminate the program and start again. Please stand by."
Cyril is going directly for that water, which should not be melted. You should not be on a planet with water that is wet. It is not the natural order, and I hate this so much. I'm going to offer some to my fellow civilized being, Envar, who's surely equally uncomfortable by this ridiculous thing, and then I'm going...
Incredibly
hack back.
uncomfortable.
But first, this is the worst. Come, my friend. I'm so sorry that the world is melting around us and we in it.
You can always put on more layers, but it is impossible to take them off and be less hot.
Why would you be in a hot place? Who does that on purpose?
Andorians and Vulcans are literally fire and water.
Not this one.
All right.
While everyone's covering themselves with mud, I would like to be looking around and use constantly watching to attempt to detect danger or hidden enemies, if anything's hiding among the sand dunes or anything.
Okay.
I know I can't detect anything if it's just a hologram, but it could be, more enemies, more wildlife coming to attack us later too. So just kind of checking.
What discipline are you using, out of curiosity, Bonnie?
I'm using a talent called Constantly Watching, which is a task to detect danger or hidden enemies. And I also
was wondering
have...
if I could assist you in that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because I got...
We could both be...
Yeah.
We could both be looking around, because I have...
2 pairs of eyes is better than 1.
I agree.
I wouldn't say that this is a roll.
All right.
But I would say that if I spend any threat to ambush you guys, that you can assist on that, Rave.
Great.
But I would say just basically with the two of you on lookout, the two of you plus Donan, y'all basically are a triangle of security. Like the three of you are keeping a close watch to make sure that nothing pops up. Really, the only place you could be attacked right now is either from the sand or the sky, or something lunges at you invisibly.
Right, but they just said they're going to restart the program, and I
Correct.
don't know what situation we're about to be thrown in, so I'm trying to, encircle my friends, so we are ready to go the second we end up underwater. Or
You
wherever.
hear, so there's a flickering sound as you are all getting prepared, and as the flickering begins to happen again, you hear the holodeck do that whoosh sound as the photons in this entire place resculpt the landscape. And just as you're starting to feel that soothing nature of like the sun no longer punishing your arm as you're kind of going through it, Jatar, as you're patting this mud on, it vanishes from your hands, and you guys are right where you started in the corridor with the disruptor on the ground, by the way, Donan. Right back where you started. There's a little bit of inconsistency in some of what you're seeing in the environment, though. You watch some of the holographic walls flicker a little bit, and some of the shadows seem to distort. And once again, some text scrolling across your data pad. The text from Daniels basically says, it's fighting the system. Get out of there as quickly as you can. Find it, kill it, get out of there as quickly as you can. What do you do?
Go to the barracks.
Okay. Is everyone in agreement on that? Donan, I'm guessing you're taking the disruptor? Okay. So, snatching up the disruptor. You guys dash towards the barracks. No encounters
important
along the
question
way.
is,
What's up?
is our Klingon friend back with us?
Yes.
How is he looking?
He looks exactly the same.
Great.
He looks like he's not registering that anything happened at all.
Great. So for him, it's like no time has passed at all.
Pretty much.
Great.
Is the guard and the Jackal Mastiff and like the door lock and stuff, is all of that restored?
Looking down the hallway, you do see the body of the guard that you shot. It looks like a save point has essentially been loaded. So it looks like the program has rebooted where it is. Yeah. A weird moment where just the entire reality shifted for a second and it's kind of rebooted. Sound good?
Well, that's unnerving. Let's get to the barracks.
Okay. So you guys dash towards the barracks. It takes just a few moments of running down this corridor. By the time you get to these, what looks like these ancient steel-looking double doors that respond very sluggishly to all of you as you approach. Again, a darkened hallway. It's almost pitch black back here. The lights from overhead are not functioning. They're kind of flickering a little bit, so that red ambient orange glow that occurs in these dark corridors is even more oppressive. As you approach the door, you hear this like screeching metal sound as the doors just grind themselves open. And you see before you what looks like an empty room of essentially about rows and rows of cots. There is 2 Klingon guards in here. The room itself is about, I would say, 50 by 50 feet. So it's just a perfect square of a room lined with cots and smells, the smells of like Klingon food and everything. It's intense. Moving into this room, one of the guards looks like they're shuffling through maybe somebody else's belongings. You see another Klingon guard looks like they're on lookout when they spot you. One of the Klingon guards has a disruptor that you can visibly see. They look like they're wearing the typical black body armor that the Klingons wear, but they're sleeveless. It looks like they're decked out to actually endure some of the temperatures down here. What's up? I see a hand go up. Donan, what do you want to do? Can't hear you, Donan.
We can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I think I manually muted on my never mind. Donna is just going to lift the disruptor up and look the Klingons right in the eye and say, out.
Do you want to roll an intimidation check?
Sure.
Okay. This is going to be a presence command check.
Sure. And can I use my persuasion focus for this?
Is it specifically persuasion?
Well, I mean,
Because intimidation is a specific focus.
all right, never mind. I'll just roll my presence command.
But I tell you what, you've got a disruptor trained on them.
Mhm.
So I'll lower the difficulty by 1.
Okay.
So normally the difficulty, because Klingons are not easily intimidated, the difficulty would normally be 3. So I'll lower it to 2 since you've got a weapon on them. Go ahead and make
Well,
the roll.
it's fine because I just rolled a crit and a success, so that's 3.
3 successes. Let me roll for these guys. Yeah, okay. The Klingons look at each other and they start leaving. One of them puts the bag down and looks at the other one. Clearly this scenario, these Klingon guards, probably not the typical warrior caste that you guys are used to encountering in Starfleet, or would be. They begin to shuffle out. What's up, Brave?
I'm just gonna yell after them. There's a riot down that way. Just the direction they're walking in. Give them a little bit of motivation.
I'm sure they're going to take the word of an escaped prisoner, but you never know. Oh, okay, thanks there. Looking out for their well-being and all. But as you kind of ushering them out, there is another door on the end of the corridor. Now, just so you know, because you are familiar with this complex, you specifically, Thran, you know that when they leave out to that back door, they're going to have access to the other guards in the facility. So even though they're being ushered out, you probably have a few rounds or so before they're able to alert anybody to come back here.
Great. How many entry points are in this room?
Only 2.
Okay, great.
Not a very strategically healthy place to put a barracks, but here we are.
So I definitely... Is everyone in the room at this point?
I'm assuming yes. And the
Okay.
2 Klingons are backing out the back side of the room. Their hands are slightly raised, but they're not going towards any weapons, and they just move back. What's up,
Yeah.
Dominic?
I follow them out, not out, but like I follow them up until the door, and once it's closed, I'm posting up right there, basically.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Great. I want to turn to Cyril, and it's Cyril, right? Not Cyril. Yes.
You got
I
it.
want to turn to
Yeah, you get
Cyril.
me.
Yeah, I get you. And essentially, I want to go. Okay, so you're better at this than I am, but
Yep.
here's what I'm thinking. This seems like it's the time that we should start hacking into like the actual program and make him. I point to our Klingon buddy. Make him the only person still in this program, so that, honeypot.
Yep. I think I have some notion of what we need to build, and then we can affect the rest of the hologram to make that happen. All I need is, if this is where we are making our stand, I need not to have Klingon guards raining down on me while I work. Can all of you,
You know
make
what?
that
We're
happen?
gonna try our best. Those guys seem pretty easy to, just tell them to get out. So here's to hoping the rest are the same. Right?
Cots to bar the doors, maybe?
Yes.
Yes,
Already
that's-
on it.
Good. Then Patty and I will get to work.
So real quick,
Yes.
as the GM, I'm going to give you, because this is information you would have. If you are caught hacking this program, it's immediate expulsion.
Okay.
If you guys are caught hacking the Kobayashi Maru for you.
The alternative is death, Eric.
Sure. But I just wanted to make this known that if you are caught violating the precepts of this particular test, the way Jim Kirk did back in the day, the way Martinez did back in the day, if you guys are ever caught doing that, there is a 0 tolerance policy for cheating at Starfleet. So
Or you get promoted.
So what you're saying is, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. All right. So-
What I am interested in building first and foremost is an isolator algorithm, not so unlike a ghost trap. If it actually possesses, it's stuck. Because I know what it looks like now, I want to prevent its ability to jump. then we can do what Thran is saying and delete other possibilities where the Cyratax could go. But I want to be able to keep them somewhere and not jumping. That's my first build priority.
Okay. This is an extended task. This is a timed extended task. So, get ready to write this down. Because you are literally going to be trying to hack while guards are going to be trying to flood into this area to attack all of you. So you guys are going to have to find a way to hold them off and cover Cyril while they basically hack the planet. So
we're back here again, Eric.
Yep. Here we are again. Yes. If only we had a particular hacker of days of yore.
Alas, we only have me, Cyril Chitarik. I have been hacking Starfleet classes every semester in preparation for this. This is truly my graduation.
Yeah.
Now give me all these horrible magnitude numbers.
All right, give me 1 sec as I set this up.
And Xander, I'm call in on you because I know you are our extended task maestro.
Well, I've got a cheat sheet, so.
Exactly. And I am cheating, so this is perfect.
All right. Here we go. So. Okay. This is going to be brutal. What you're attempting to do is not easy. So, this is a time task. The work track is 10. And just to be clear, each tick on the work track is 30 seconds. The difficulty is 3. The magnitude is 3. But the resistance is also 3.
We have a bunch of momentum and advantages. Just use them. I believe in you, Cyril.
So this is
so
going
what
to be...
this worth from the top, because I'm designing a program, would you say this is reason science?
Yeah, I would let this be computer science. Yeah. This would not be an engineering check. This would be a reason science check.
Yeah, I mean, and that's mostly whether or not my cautious falls into it. It's not like I don't have engineering. I also have both testing a theory and theory into practice, and I've been working in this field already, all adventure.
I mean, technically, this is kind of a security thing because you're literally trying to co-opt command code and read.
I'm not yet. I'm not breaking the current hologram. Then that will be the security thing. Right now, I'm just building the trap program.
Oh, building the trap is not a problem. This extended task kicks in when you try to override the security.
Okay.
Because that's going to be an extended task.
All right.
So building the program is totally going to be a reason science check.
Great. I'd like to make that if for no other reason. That's going to be an advantage into that
Generating
horrible
momentum.
thing that I'm going to have to roll about.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I need to start building up as many of those advantages as possible before Disruptor Fire rains down on all of us.
Yeah. So as you're doing that, Donan, on the other side of the door, you can hear movement. It's only been about 30 seconds. But you can start hearing commotion coming from down the hall on the other side of the steel doors that you're guarding.
You've got company.
I have an idea. It might be a little unconventional. So we're in the barracks now, right? So we have like all these supplies and stuff. I'm gonna start dressing up our Klingon friend as a guard, and like using some of the things, and I'm gonna just be like, how's your acting?
Acting? I do not do Klingon opera.
Oh, no, please don't do that. I have an idea. Would you like to be a diversion.
He kind of side-eyes you. What do you mean?
I mean, I think with this amazing disguise, you could go out there and lead the guards away from this area. And by doing so, we will all escape.
How do I escape if I lead them away?
You come back? All right. Shoot. What if one of us goes with you?
Camo, I think that we should maybe stick to this room.
I'm just saying, if 30 guards are about to come in here, we're a little outnumbered. If we can at least buy Cyril more time.
No, but I'm saying the exact trap that Cyril is making is just like intrinsically like linked to this Klingon specifically. So that might disrupt. That might disrupt
what?
Wait.
Looking at the Klingon. No trap. No disguise. I was just let me just take this off.
Can I just sidebar with you real quick? Can you and I, Camo, have a real quick talk right over here?
Sure.
Great.
This Klingon cranes his head to the side as he watches the two of you take a few steps away from him, and he's kind of like, his eyes have narrowed now as he's heard some trigger words about trap, about like, he's hearing like all of these alert sounds, just kind of watches the two of you in this low kind of, Okay, the two of you are a few feet away. What are you doing?
So, Camo, thought I know where you were going with this, but clearly I didn't. I thought you were going to dress him up as a guard in case anyone else accidentally got in here, and we try to do like he's the guard, we're the prisoners thing. Do you want to try doing that?
That actually could work too. It's just then he becomes outnumbered, and then it's obviously
No, we kill them before they outnumber us.
Oh,
that's
sure. Oh, that's definitely in the cards, obviously. I'm just trying to buy us a little bit more time, since if they all descend on us at the same time, it's gonna be, I can take at least, and between you and, we're fine. It's just, it's gonna be,
I see what you're trying
dirty.
to do. I think it's very smart, creating more obstacles before they can get to Cyril. Let's try and find other ways to do that. What is Envar doing?
I'm currently building the barricades in front of the doors, aiding Denon so that we are not immediately just walked in upon.
Doing smart things like they do. All right. Yes, let's continue the dressing him up like a guard and see how that goes when we at least some more confusion of when they break through and we're able to at least be like, oh, we're prisoners, haha, just kidding.
I would like to.
Way better idea.
What's that?
While I'm lifting tons and tons of cots and
I'm gonna
beds,
go help you.
I would no, I'm fine. I'm a Vulcan. Don't worry. It is more. I want to shout back to just the room in general. If you don't mind, maybe they have some disruptors in their effects. We might need more ammo than one disruptor. Continues loading cots.
I wouldn't mind the backup if any of y'all decide you want to help.
Oh yes, obviously when I disguised this amazing, strong, wonderful Klingon friend of ours that we are obviously not leading into a trap yet. I was also going to look for weapons. That was duh. Yes.
Yes, if you'd like to search the barracks.
Let's search it quickly. Let's go.
All right. So we have Invar basically taking cots and creating obstacles in front of the door. You can't really barricade it because these cots are pretty light, but man, you can create a lot of problems for anybody who wants to charge into this room. So that coupled with the fact that you have, you've got Donan guarding the door. The back door, there are a few heavy objects in here, Invar, that you could probably use to at least slow down the entry into the doorway, like the equivalent of moving a filing cabinet in front of the door, kind of thing.
Pretty much, but I imagine there's also things like rope and bed sheets and things that I can tie things together to hold them better into place.
You're gonna Home Alone this. I get
Oh,
you.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, or Spy Kids it.
Spy Kids thing. Okay, so you're setting up these sort of obstacles. Who is searching for weapons in this room? Okay, so the two of you. All right, so we'll go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get Cyril to do their roll, and then I'll tell you what you guys find. Invar, I don't think you have to roll at all. I think you're just you're using your actions to basically create traits that's going to make it difficult for them to attack you guys in mass in this room.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So then why don't we go ahead and do the roll first, Cyril?
I went ahead and I made my reason science roll
Okay.
to create an advantage.
Did I tell you what the difficulty was on that?
No, I don't think you did actually.
The difficulty on the roll is 3.
That's cool. So then we gain 2 momentum.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, a 5, a 10, and a 19.
Of course you did.
Because
So-
I bought a
That's just the
momentum
fun
and then we
floating.
paid it back.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. So
Is that
you're
towards the
hard
extended
work.
task, or is that
What's that?
towards the extended task, or was that separate?
Extended task hasn't started yet. Extended task will be using. Extended task will be breaking into the security to basically install that program to ghost trap and delete. So yeah, that's next.
Can I ask a quick momentum check-in? I don't
Yeah.
know what we're at because it seems to be like I'm at my monitor says 12, and I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
we're
wrong.
completely maxed
So-
out. We max out at 6, but we also have all that extra floating around. But I don't know if that
Well,
Actually,
maxed out, I think the floating has collapsed.
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
6.
So all right. So
Yeah, so I'd like to get into my engineering
all right. Cool.
whenever
So
we
go ahead and make your roll then.
Okay.
And then when you're done with your roll, I'm gonna need Donan to make a check.
All right. So to be clear, we did establish that this can be an engineering extended task
Yes.
or science.
Yes, I would allow both.
Okay,
It
great.
works
Then I
with
love
computer
science.
It works is like if you're engineering it, I could see an application of both skills in this case for sure.
Great. I say that in part because I have cautious science, but also because I have testing a theory and theory into practice. When I attempt a task using science or engineering, I can roll an additional d20 as long as I succeeded at a previous task covering the same technological field earlier in this adventure. Been doing a ton of that. But I also have theory into practice. When you attempt a task using science or engineering, where you gain the additional d20 from testing a theory, reduce the difficulty of the task by 1. That's going to be very helpful here.
Nice. Okay.
So I will be rolling with 4 base dice from my computer expertise from testing a theory, and it will be down to difficulty 2 from
3.
theory into practice. I'm going to take 1 momentum to max out all of the dice that I can roll.
And just to clarify,
you-
this is for the extended task now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I'm going to answer your question here in just a second, Gina. Just to let everybody know, as Cyril rolls this, we're going into a time task phase where each tick that we get is 30 seconds passing. If the work track cannot be filled up and this magnitude can't be defeated by the time runs out, this place is going to become flooded with Klingons. So, what is your question, Gina?
My question was Cyril getting assistance on this?
Yeah, Cyril.
I know that they had asked for it, and I didn't know who was taking that up.
If I remember correctly, you do have the capacity to hack as well. Don't you have like computer systems?
I do.
So, I tell you what. In order to create a circumstance where you would be able to give any kind of assistance, I'm going to ask that you spend 2 momentum to create an advantage and pull a Klingon data pad out of one of these. While everyone is searching like the barracks, there's a Klingon data pad in here. If you're willing to spend 2 points to gain that advantage, I'll give it to you, and then you can assist. What's up, Xander?
Just a quick reminder, though, we will need momentum for piercing moving forward because there is a very high resistance for the extended task, but it might be negated by the advantage. So just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. My thought on this, just to put to the group, is that having an assist on each of those intervals might ultimately, I'm not back of the envelope mathing it, help more than those 2 momentum. Because then all you need is a crit and a focus, and that advantage is paid for itself. So that's
understood.
the hope. So, also, doing things with friends. Doing things with Andorian buddies. Hey, not all Andorians have antenna.
The Andorian and the Vulcan helping each other out. Okay, so yeah, if you want to burn those two momentum, then we can say that while weapons are being searched for, our Betazoid and our Vulcan friend find a Klingon data pad amongst the weapons that they're pulling out, and can hand it to you, Invar.
I'm all done with the cuts. Oh, great! I can assist now.
Okay, so
And I go
everyone's
and
doing
sit
that
with
momentum?
Cyril.
All right, so you're going to go over there and help Cyril. Quick, before we get into this, and I know you just did your roll, so stand by on that, Cyril. Let me tell you what you guys find in the room. There are 3 Klingon daggers.
Yes.
Good times. 3 Klingon daggers.
Like
There
dick
is
talks or
Mech-Leth.
daggers?
I'm sorry?
Like dick talks or just daggers?
Assume they're dick talks, yeah.
Just want to know for me.
Yeah. Definitely. They don't look like they are typical Klingon daggers, though. They don't look like they're from a family. It looks like they're just your run-of-the-mill sort of generic daggers. But they do have the... They are dick talk daggers, for sure.
TikTok.
Dick talk.
If nobody minds, I'd like one of those, please.
Yeah. There is a Mech-Leth in here. And for anybody who wants to know, that is damage rating 2 with Vicious 1. And it has Opportunity 1 for its cost. We can get into that later, though.
What kind of weapon is that, though? Like, what does it look like?
A Mech-Leth? A Mech-Leth looks like a bizarre-ass short sword with 2 forking like blades coming off the top. It is used primarily by duelists and sometimes assassins. But for the most part, Mech-Leth is usually considered one of the most efficient weapons that the Klingon has in their arsenal in terms of bladed melee combat weapons.
Oh, nice.
I mean, that's grading on a
everything that we're
curve
finding-
with the Batleth, I'm just saying. So
Batleth
Mech-Leth
is a
is a good
ceremonial
weapon.
weapon. It's not... Batleth was always intended to be a ceremonial weapon and a ritualistic weapon.
Okay, good to know.
So,
But everything that we're finding is melee weapons and nothing is a ranged weapon.
What's that?
Everything that we found so far is a melee weapon and not a ranged weapon.
Well, I haven't finished yet.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
Perfect.
So you got 2 TikToks. You find a Mech-Leth. Yeah, I imagine Danon's eyes light up. You do find...
Hand-to-hand combat is what I do. So anything that gives me melee fun, I would like it, please. And thank you.
Cool. There is one disruptor pistol in here. You do find a disruptor pistol. And just to give you the stat on that, is damage. The base damage for a disruptor pistol is 3, which is nasty. It's like a Type 2 phaser, essentially. And it's Vicious 1. So that's fun. And for anybody who needs a quick reminder, Vicious is every time you roll damage, if you roll an effect, it does 1 extra damage. Disruptors are made to kill. It does not have a stun setting. You just kill.
So with all of us in the room and we all know each other, we all know each other's strengths. So I'm assuming we would know how to hand out these weapons effectively
absolutely.
among the group. Because we know, obviously, Donan and myself, and I forget someone else, is specialized in weapons and hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else was it.
I think it's just you and me.
Oh, fabulous! Who else wants weapons? Everyone, you get a weapon, you get a weapon, you get a weapon.
Stop.
I will
Pro returns.
I will just say that Cadix and Donan probably often have little tips about who gets the better melee weapon.
Who gets that? It's like, fine, you can have this disruptor if I can have this, and then I'll take this if you get that. Yeah.
But I think in this case, because we're running short on time, if you claim the Mech-Leth, Dawn is just going to let you have it as long as they get a bladed weapon of some kind. Which we have plenty of TikToks, so I'll just take a TikTok if that's,
Yeah, so that's a damage rating 1, but it is deadly and it has Vicious 1. They are nasty, nasty weapons.
Jatar will take the other disruptor and then post up on the back door, guarding the other side.
As y'all are all preparing, you can start hearing all of the noise coming from both sides of the hallway. And it starts to become a little anxiety-inducing as you start hearing the beeping noise as as you're all kind of getting ready, you can hear Cyril just like typing away on the data pad as quickly as possible. This Andorian just like hyper focused in on this glossy black data pad in front of them as they're just burning through lines of code. As you're hearing that noise, you start getting a notification, Cyril, on your data pad, sort of like a pop-up, if you will, alerting you that a photonic disturbance is in progress in the vicinity. And as you're just typing it away and chirping on that, all of you, by the way, I should also say, as you start getting that photonic like chirping sound, and at about that point, Cadix, you start feeling the emotional presence of a being in the vicinity. Hostile is putting it lightly. Murderous intent. And when we come back from our break, we're going to find out which one of you is able to stop your Klingon prisoner who's dashing towards Cyril right now with a dagger in his hand at a full bum rush. Just rushing towards them and with his dagger up.
Who gave him a dagger?
Good question.
Wasn't it?
Before, you did mention at one point you wanted me to make a roll of some kind. I don't know what that was or what it was going to be, but yeah, we'll leave it till after break.
During the break, let's hold off on that. And when we come back, because we have the extended task also to resolve. So we are going to be back in 10 minutes, you guys. Don't go anywhere because the shit has hit the fan. And we're about to see how this goes. So stay tuned and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Clear Skies, everybody. We're back from our break and ready to jump into essentially what I'm equating to the Star Trek version of fighting the orcs and the cave troll in Moria right now. Y'all are holed up in this room, and instead of trying to make a prison break, you've decided to make a stand. You have an estimated 30 Klingon guards that are milling about out there somewhere, and you've decided what you're going to do is instead use your scientific and security acumen to set up essentially a trap to trap this photonic being into one form and then get rid of everyone else so you can deal with this creature in 1 versus 6. This has taken a very dangerous turn. As these Klingons are closing in, coming back, storming towards the barracks and shouting, you guys have barricaded this place and distributed weapons to everybody. Out of nowhere, the Klingon prisoner, who everyone was already kind of keeping an eye on to make sure that this didn't happen, has appeared with a weapon in his hand and is lunging at Cyril, who is completely not seeing it. This is all happening in the time span of just a few moments. So before we get into the lunging Klingon with the diktok over his head, let's get to our rolls. Now, Sam, this was our first round of an extended time task. The magnitude is 3, the work track is 10, the difficulty is 3, and the resistance is 3. Because it's a time task, you have 5 chances to make this roll before the time runs out and this place becomes overrun with Klingons. And then it's a fight to the last person. Remember, the safety protocols apparently have been removed from the holodeck. So it is a life and death situation right now. However, Sam made their roll before we went to break. And Sam, if you'd like to tell us what you rolled.
Well, first I need to see if I'm getting my assist from Envar, who hasn't rolled yet.
Sure, we're going to get to that.
Because we need both of the Andorians on it.
What did you roll?
I rolled 7.
7 successes?
Yes.
Why do we even ask them anymore, guys? Like, why do
when I hack things, I hack things.
All right.
I don't care what system.
So Envar, you get your assist here. Go ahead and make your roll.
What is the what am I using?
What are you using?
I can tell you how I help. I guess.
Yeah, explain how are you helping, and that actually informs the skills that you're using.
So, it's my understanding that we are currently trying to implement said made program into said holodeck program without them knowing it. Correct?
Correct.
So my specialty specifically is technological intel retraction and sabotage. So I have infiltration focus that is specific to my flavoring of it was intellectual infiltration. So I'm aiding in the part where we are getting the design into the program without being expelled.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make your roll then. That is going to be, I'm going to say that is going to be, that's an insight science check, I think. I'll allow security as well. Insight security is totally acceptable.
Got it. Insight. Okay.
Yeah.
This chapter it has to be just called killed or worse, expelled.
I was
That's a crit
thinking
from Enver.
exactly that.
We need to sort out our priorities.
All right, so a crit from Enver puts us to a total current momentum of 9.
9.
And we're going to be putting that toward a lot of stuff.
Okay.
In fact. So I'm going to be rolling, because I roll science for this, I'm going to roll 2 base dice plus my discipline in science, which is 5. So I'll roll 5 challenge dice on that. I'm also spending 2 momentum for piercing. Each one ignores 2 resistance, so that means that all 3 resistance will be overcome.
Drops to 0.
Resistance is, you know. I will spend another momentum to re-roll 4 of those dice. That leaves us with 6 to use, because we're riding on bonus momentum right now. Okay, cool. So that gets me to 5 effects.
Nice.
Okay. Which gets us to our first breakthrough, because we completely wiped out resistance.
So the magnitude will drop to 2 right away.
I feel good. I feel good about that.
Now the time to interval, you need 5 rolls. This is going to eat up 2, so I'm guessing you're going to spend. To knock this down to only 1 to interval spend. Is that correct?
So it was 5 rolls because I was crunching that down. So it was 10, and then it's 5 rolls. So I'm not crunching 2 of the rolls. I'm just crunching 1 of those 5.
Okay.
It's already factored in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so we're already assuming off the bat that you're going to be spending the momentum to make sure that it's not 2 intervals that are being eaten up every time you roll, but just 1.
No, I was calculating that the 5 is assuming that it's 2 intervals.
Okay.
So otherwise it would be 10 down to 5.
Gotcha.
So I just started this from 5 for my own brain.
Understood. So
so I'm not currently spending. I am living dangerously.
Okay, cool. So then this is going to slash off 2 of those intervals, and we're down to 3 rolls left. Is that correct?
I have a suggestion. If we wanted to, we could spend some of the extra momentum. We are topped off at 6. We could spend like 3 or something just to get 3 more additional work in.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I like at least 2 of them, because that'll give 1 for cautious and then piercing and reroll for the next round.
Because
let's leave some for you. You guys are about to shoot things. Why don't we leave that for you all to shoot?
Okay.
You want to shoot good? You shoot good.
Okay.
Go shoot good,
so
Brian.
just to clarify, you didn't spend any momentum to have the amount of time that this would have taken. So it's going to eat 2 of those 5 intervals, correct?
It should just eat 1 of the 5 rather than, or 2 of 10.
I follow you now. So we simplified it, but it's essentially
I already just knocked it down for my own brain.
That's
I'm sorry.
smart. I dig it. It's gonna make it a lot cleaner for me too.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So
we're now down to 4.
4 more actions. So you got 4 chances. It looks like you're on track to getting this done. You've already knocked down off the work track. So as you are furiously inputting with Invar to your side, the 2 of you are looking at each other as you're jumping code. Invar's pointing out some pretty standard, interesting little nuances to security coding that you are actually like, oh yeah, hey, I could use it this way. The 2 of you are actually like really synergizing off each other as you're working together. She's using this Klingon data pad, you're using your data pad. You can hear the roar of angry Klingons storming down the hallway, and then the charge happens. So we're going to be in combat now. Because Bonnie has that trait, which is always active, keeps you constantly apprised of when a surprise attack is happening. If it didn't, this Klingon would probably get a surprise attack as he is attacking from behind. He is an ally and he's coming out of nowhere. However, Bonnie, you're gonna get first action here. In combat.
Yay! And
Guys
obviously he's
lunging towards Cyril.
okay. Is he coming towards me, or do I see his back?
He's
I'm
basically running.
leaping onto his back then.
No, he's not behind. You're not behind him. He's running past you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't want to kill him because we need him. He's our honeypot. Okay. I'm going to try and keep him busy. Because I'm going to use my telepath ability to try and like figure out this creature's movements and like try and obviously because Klingons are coming.
Well, so
he's in the Klingon.
I know he's in the Klingon, and we have other enemies coming too, but we need him in particular.
So let me just specify that if you don't physically try to stop him, he is going to make a stabbing attack against Cyril on his.
Oh no, I'm stopping him. I'm stopping him.
Okay, so specifically, what are you doing?
Grappling him.
You're going to try to tackle him? Okay, so this is going to be a melee combat roll then.
Yes.
All right. So.
Sorry if that wasn't clear.
No, that's okay.
So in this instance, because the Klingon technically is attacking, would this be that Camo is defending, or is this an additional attack and the Klingon would be the defender in this case?
They weren't attacking.
Technically, the Klingon is the defender in this case because Bonnie has initiative. So she's initiating combat with him. So he is actually going to be able to defend himself in this case. It's not like if you can think about it this way, it is kind of like a sloppy like combat round where it's not very clear who's attacking who. But thematically, the way it's playing out is you see this lunge happening. He's not getting his attack yet because he isn't able to initiate it. You initiate first and attack him. So go ahead and make your roll, and he's going to make his defense roll.
You're going to be daring and security.
Yes. And what's the difficulty?
It's a base of 1, and you're going to be up against whatever.
Right. I'm going to take a momentum for a dice.
Okay, cool.
That's all right with everyone.
I'm going to spend a threat to gain a dice.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
This is a daring security check.
And I have cautious security, so I'm going to reroll this one. Great.
What'd you get?
3 successes.
He got 3 successes.
All right.
So it's been a while, but if I remember
Pi goes
correctly,
to active in this system.
I'm sorry.
Pi goes to the active player in this system.
That's
so
correct.
In this circumstance, it would be Bonnie.
It's going to be you, Bonnie. You're actually going to take this role. So what are you doing?
Okay.
You're gonna tackle him?
I'm going to tackle him and grapple him down and trying to just keep holding him down and bide us more time and keep him busy.
Okay. So if you're going to, instead of getting tied up in the rules for grappling and combat, what we're going to do now is we're just going to make this a straight up check based off of either way. He's probably losing his action this round, but it's to determine whether or not you can hold him.
All right.
So I need you. It's actually so. What we'll do is because combat bounces from you guys to them to you to them. What we're going to do is you've tackled him. We're going to move to his round now, and he's going to attempt to break the grapple.
All right.
So this is going to be a fitness security check.
All right. I'm gonna take another of these. Oh.
So
oh
go ahead and make your roll. I'm going to spend another point of threat. Gain a die. All right.
Oh, thank you, cautious.
We're at 4 right now.
Ah. Shoot. No, because I got 3 successes, so that we got bucked up to 6, and then I just took 1, so now we're at 5.
You actually don't gain momentum if you didn't succeed on the roll. I mean, you got the difficulty, but he beat
the
you.
last time. The last time.
Yeah.
Right.
However,
but in an opposed check, it's net successes.
Yeah, and in this case, he actually beats you.
Crap.
He manages, you tackle him and wrap your arms around him. And the power of this. So, first of all, it's worth noting that this is the same starved Klingon that you were able to rescue from the cell. He does not look like he's in good shape. He looks like this particular program is designed to resemble a prisoner who's been malnourished, who's been languishing in this prison for a while now. The ferocity in which he shakes you off of him is astounding. He literally just throws his arms up with a roar. And what's even more disheartening, as he throws his head back and roars, there's this high-pitched screech that comes out from the back of his throat that does not sound Klingon at all. In fact, it's almost ear-shattering how high-pitched it is, and everyone in this room hears it. It just sounds like some kind of like tech issue going wrong, and it rings in your ears. However, he averts his attention away from Cyril and turns on you with the dik-tok. But he's not. But his action is not going to be attacking you. He spent his action breaking free from your grapple this turn. So, who's next? It's you guys' round. Who wants to go? We've got 2 people left.
How close am I?
You are. I would say you're about 8 meters away.
All right. If there's anybody closer, I'll let them take it.
Yeah, I think I might be
I'm
closer.
sorry, 8 feet away. Yeah, actually, Rave, you are closer.
Yeah. Okay, so he has now turned on camo, correct?
Yeah.
I want to continue drawing his attention away from Cyril. So I want to like the angle from which I want to approach him. I kind of like want him to come closer to me, if that makes sense. So can I want to move towards him but not get too close. And then can I go for him with my dik-tok? Is that how you say it?
Dik-tok.
Dik-tok. Oh boy, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay, yeah, let's go for my dik-tok.
Okay, so moving is a minor action, so you can close
Great.
the distance, no problem. You can get up
Great.
in front of him. You've got one more action. Are you basically going to stab at him, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'd like to stab at him.
Okay, this is going to be, this is going to be a daring security check, and you will need to roll. Now, if I remember correctly, I've got to spend threat here because he's being attacked again. Is that correct? If he wants to defend himself against more than one target, I'm gonna have to double check. But I mean,
that might be a Xander Q.
it's one of the things that happens in combat is if you're being attacked by multiple opponents at the same time, it becomes harder and harder to keep up with all of what's happening and to defend yourself from multiple angles. So as Xander looks that up, I'm going to make a roll real quick because I've got the threat to spend if I need to spend it. So go ahead.
Can I spend a momentum to get another D20?
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. Xander, did you find anything or should I look this up?
Down to 3.
Down to 3?
I'm currently still looking.
Oh, okay. I'm 90% sure that that's the way it is. You got to spend threat if you want to get. It's like holding the initiative almost. What'd you get, Rave?
3 successes.
3 successes? All right, let's see what he
Or
gets.
can I use survival by any chance as a focus?
No.
Damn. I'm trying to survive. Okay. Fair.
Trying to survive would be not attacking a Klingon that's being possessed by a futuristic photonic being that's trying to kill you.
That's absolutely fair.
You are going to succeed.
Yeah.
You're going to get him.
Stab.
So go ahead and make the roll. You use your challenge dice. So the damage on a dik-tok, if you remember, it is, for this dagger, the damage is 1 plus your security rating. So what is your security?
My security is 4.
So 5 challenge dice
5
total.
challenge dice.
Yeah, and
Give
it's got the vicious quality. So if you roll 5 or 6s, let me know.
Okay, great. Oh, great! I rolled 2 5s, 1 6, 1 1, and 1 3. So basically 1. So I got 2 5s and 1 6. If you wanted to know
So
how many
2 5s and 1 6. That's 2, 4, 6 points of damage plus the extra 1 point that you got. So 7 points of damage, which is an injury.
I think in an 8 because I also rolled a 1.
What's that?
I also rolled a 1, so I think it would be 8 points of
Oh,
damage,
I
right?
counted the 1. You rolled 2,
you
5,
counted the 1.
6,
Great,
and a
I
1,
can't
right?
math.
So
Beautiful,
2,
yes.
4, 6, 7 points. Yeah, because
Yeah,
the 5s and
great.
the 6 we're counting as 2, because it's got the vicious effect.
Oh, right. For some reason, I was like adding the vicious on. Great.
Yeah, no sweat. So 7 points of damage, which would be an injury. I'm going to spend a point of threat, or actually 2 points of threat, to shrug off the injury.
Please don't.
So where with the body tackle, you all noticed that Cadix was doing what she could to not take this Klingon out. However, as he breaks free and lunges at Cadix from behind, Thran doesn't show any of that kind of reservation and slams this dagger into the shoulder of this Klingon. He doesn't react. However, you do see the damage done to the body as the Diktok slams into the top of his shoulder. He does not react to the damage, but you do see the hologram of itself flicker a little bit as there is a distortion effect taking place. In a normal hologram, it would react like somebody who had just gotten stabbed and would probably take the reaction of like pain, or maybe even just like show blood or whatever. In this case, this creature does not react at all, but you did do 7 points of damage, which is
Perfect.
a lot of damage.
A lot of damage. I'm not trying
All
to
right.
kill this thing, just weaken it till it's close.
You stab it into his back. All right, so, oh, you know what? Hold on one sec. I forgot. I have to roll his resistance. I totally forgot about his resistance. Okay, he's still going to take an injury, but he only takes 5 points of damage.
Okay, great.
He still takes the injury, and I still have to spend. Okay, so,
God.
who would like to go next?
Jatar's in the back, at the back door. Does it seem like there are any noises of people coming in from that side?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe that my colleagues have this handled capably, and I will instead turn my attention toward the people moving in from this entrance.
Okay, cool. Now, the unfortunate thing, I'm going to go ahead and spend a point of threat here. And that door that you guys came in, the one that I described as like broken and having problems, it's not fully closed. It's got a little bit of a gap.
Door, or is that this door that I'm at?
The door that you're at.
Is that the
So
one I
I-
barricaded?
What's that? Yeah. It's just a little ajar. I mean, just barely, like about this much. Enough that you can actually see down the hallway.
Got it. I will look through that.
Looking through it, you can actually see, you can't count the number specifically of heads and shoulders, but you're guessing maybe 10 Klingons in the vicinity of 10 Klingons charging down the hallway.
They're charging now rapidly.
They're charging down the hallway. They'll probably be at the door in the next turn. Whether they get through the door, that's probably up for debate.
Got it. So, I have the disruptor. You said there's no stun setting on it, but on a typical phaser, there is a capacity to like melt metal. So I'm looking to see on the disruptor if there's a setting that I could use to fuse the door kind of shut by welding it.
Unfortunately, disruptors fire in bolts. There's no sustained fire setting. They're literally just, they lob bolts of disruptive energy, and you could probably blast a hole through shit, but you can't. Unfortunately, one of the great things about phasers is their incredible utility.
Right.
So this is a killing weapon. It's meant to destroy. So,
then I will take up a stance with a piece of debris that was used to barricade as shelter, and I'm going to get a low crouch and aim the disruptor at the door, waiting for... I'm holding my action.
Okay, sure. We'll just say that you use your minor action to grab like one of the beds, push it over to just sort of like create something of a visual
if they're
distraction.
metal beds, then yes, something very solid to hide behind.
Okay, whatever you can grab, essentially. I mean, it's a bunch of debris at this point because of how much this room has been jacked up. So it's basically like cots and belongings that are all tossed about. So you're holding your action. That's going to leave. That's going to leave our Bajoran. What is Donna doing?
So my door is still currently closed, but as far as we know, it is not locked, correct?
As far as you know, it's not locked.
So I am probably going to I'm probably going to stay, like, try to get a little bit of cover, just like Jatar. But essentially, I am going to be I'm probably going to shout back to Cadix and to Thran really fast. You guys got him?
Obviously.
Essentially, yes.
That's it. That's the only response you're going to get. You hear that shouted back at you.
I keep posted by my door, and I kind of cast a quick look to Jatar and kind of give him a quick nod. And yeah, we're on the doors. That's what we're doing.
Here come a bunch of holographic angry Klingons coming to kill all y'all. Okay. That's going to be the end of this round then. So let's start the top of the round. And just to keep things clean and simple, we're going to start with an extended task roll that's followed by an assist. So let's do it. So we are...
From the top, can I get a confirmation on our current momentum level from everybody?
Yeah.
Because that moved around a lot. Okay, we are down to 3. Copy that. I'm
momentum.
still going to take one for cautious on this roll. And then I'm going to make it.
All right.
Only 6 this time.
Only 6?
I'm a disappointment to my family. We should all go home.
I don't know. I guess this is Sam's last game, everybody.
What's even the point of me? So I can have an assist from my Andorian friend.
Okay.
Cool. Good. I'll bring it up to 7.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, so 7 successes total. So how are you going to spin that down?
So 7, that brings us back up to 9 overall. So I'm going to spend 2 of the 9 for piercing, and then do the effect roll. And then I'm going to use another one, so we're down to 6, to selectively reroll 5 of these dice. These traitors. Okay, that's better. That is 4. So I want to take, we have 6 momentum going, and if I get to the end, if I just get 1 more work, which is a momentum spend, additional work, that's enough, because that fills the work track, which is a breakthrough. It's itself 5, which is a breakthrough, getting us to all 3 freaking breakthrough. I do the thing. I hack the plan, and I do it quietly and discreetly and well because of Envar.
All right. The 2 of you.
I'm eyebrow wiggling at you. Excited.
Not intending.
So with Vulcan Eyebrow and Andorian Antenna, the 2 of you smash through this code and be able to stealthily basically isolate a lot of the holodeck security protocols. You actually get full access popping up on your data pad. You see this holodeck program has basically been commandeered. Starfleet is not in control of what's happening inside the program right now, but they are fighting for control. They haven't, the other side, this creature does not also have full control, but is manipulating the program. You can only imagine what things must look like in the control room right now of people who are monitoring this holodeck program. It occurs to you too, as you're looking at this data readout, that you have lost all communications with the outside and that the holodeck has been locked. You guys are in a kill box right now. It looks like this creature, this Ceratax, has equally attempted to enact the same trap philosophy on the 6 of you that you were trying to pull on it. And judging from what you are seeing in the program as these Klingons are coming, it's aware of what you're trying to do. And it's trying to beat you to the punch. That being said, you now have access to start shutting down Klingon programs and isolating him. However, you're not going to be able to just shut them all off at once. It's a staggered event. So for the next 3 rounds, their numbers are going to dwindle down to 0 as the holodeck shuts down each individual program till there's only 1 left. So you got to hold for 3 rounds. All right. I don't know what Rave is saying, but it looks like it looks like. What's that?
I'm happy I get to shoot
I was going to
things.
tell you, but I'm actually far more curious at what your guess was.
All right.
Basically, we fucking got this.
Yeah, you got 3 rounds. You've bottlenecked it. You guys succeeded in all of this. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next person up. Whoever wants to go next. Actually, it's his action. Okay, I think he is actually going to. Yeah, he's gonna whirl. He's gonna spin on that heel with blood and saliva coming out of the side of his mouth as the hologram is just simulating his lethal damage that he's taken. What you guys witness happening is a pure manipulation of the holographic matrix, because instead of actually turning, he pulls a T-1000 and you see the front part of his body shift suddenly, and now he's facing the opposite direction. It's literally like the hologram just goes, and instead of raging the dick talk towards Bonnie, he goes, and Thran, you're being stabbed. So I'm gonna spend a point of threat here.
No!
Right.
And I need to roll. Okay. So I'm gonna need you to roll your daring security.
Okay. My daring security. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Okay. And then how much momentum do we have, y'all?
We're riding on 5 right
2.
now.
5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 1 to get an extra D20 for cautious.
I'm actually going to spend one of his values because he is a major NPC.
Why do you want to stab me, Eric?
And I'm going to spend that, and his value is the mission or no coming home.
Damn.
So go ahead and tell me how many successes you got.
Well, I got 3 successes.
Yeah,
so
he's going to stab you.
How? Fuck.
I beat you by
Okay.
1.
Great.
I'm going to get you.
Great. That's fair.
You can
That's
use
fair.
momentum to shrug off injuries, and we have enough for you to do that.
Yep.
Can I use that momentum to shrug off?
Well, let's see
Yeah,
how
let me
much
roll-
damage he does, but
Let me roll damage here.
because he might roll like butts. He's gonna roll like butts. He's
He's
gonna
gonna
roll
roll
absolute
like
butts.
butt.
This is a major NPC, which means he functions like a PC.
Hey, you know what? PCs can roll like butts plenty. Just ask. You know what? I
I'm
don't
going to
need to.
spend threat to re-roll these dice. Okay. You take 10 points of damage.
Oh boy.
That is
boy.
10 lethal damage from this guy. You're going to
Okay, so
have
that's
to
2
put a momentum
injuries.
to shrug off injury on that. Because actually, you're going to have to shrug off because you hit the check mark. That's essentially 2 breakthroughs. So that's 2 injuries.
Shrug them off, Thran.
Yeah,
Shrug them
yeah,
off.
I would like to shrug them off. I would like to shrug them off. Can
So
I spend
what
the
you can
momentum
do-
to shrug them off?
Yeah, you can. So it's going to be 2 momentum to shrug it off.
Great.
Um,
Thank you, friends.
Let me just load this up so I've got the rules in front of you. That is a
Okay.
monster amount of damage.
To avoid injury, spend 2 momentum. Avoid suffering a single injury. The cost must be paid by suffering a complication instead. Other factors may increase the cost further. Only be used once per scene, although additional uses can be obtained. So we can shrug off 1 injury with 2 momentum.
Okay. So
We
here's
can also
a quick,
use.
I was just going to say the quick question that I just want to get clarification on before we advance is
Yeah.
having taken 10 points of damage, does that mean you now take 2 injuries? Because 5 points is the threshold, and it would work like the work track in that regard. Just like it would work in ship breaches. I believe that's the way it happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So no matter what happens, you're still going to take an injury here because you can only spend momentum
Okay.
to shrug off 1 injury, correct? The only other option you have is calling upon your determination to ignore the effects of the second injury, which you can do. But let me warn you, ignoring the effects of an injury after you've taken 2 means the next time I hit you with lethal damage, you are immediately killed.
Yeah, I'm gonna not do that then.
Otherwise, you're going to go down, and if they don't first aid you by the end of the scene, you die.
Okay, great, cool.
Let me just tell you one more thing, though. I can spend a point of threat and try to kill you while you're on the ground.
Okay. Well, I'm
but I have to spend threat to do it. And just so you know, just so we're totally clear, I am down to 2 threat.
Okay, great.
Just so everybody knows.
Great.
I've been spending it all game. But, so those are your options, Rafe.
Okay, so I definitely want to use 1 momentum to shrug off the injury. I want to keep the other injury. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so you're going to shrug off 1 injury for sure. Are you going to call upon your determination to stay
I don't,
to...
that sounds like... Yeah.
If you call upon your determination to keep standing, you're going to lose your protection, but you'll be able to continue contributing in the scene. It just means you can't afford to take any more injuries.
Oh boy.
Which is already true. Because
true.
if you get injured again, you're equally toast. It's basically use your determination and be in the scene, or don't use it and be out of the scene. You are equally vulnerable.
It's correct.
Okay,
the only
great.
difference is I have to spend a point of threat to kill you if you go down.
Okay, sounds great. Then yeah, I'll use my determination. Let's do that then.
Okay.
I actually feel like this is the first time I'm using determination, so I'm just gonna roll a d20, right?
You actually don't have to roll anything. You just say, I'm going to spend my determination to ignore the results of this injury. And,
fantastic.
But you have to pick a determination you're calling upon. Do you have any values that you can call upon here?
Yeah, I think that, okay, so I have 4 that I...
Actually,
yeah.
you don't, on second thought, you don't even have to rationalize this because technically you've been giving a mission parameter. And that is to kill this guy. You can use that as your determination.
Exactly. So mission parameter, I believe in Starfleet intelligence, so I really believe in this mission.
That totally works.
Okay, great.
That totally works. Okay. So you all, those who see it happen, gasp in terror as you see this Klingon hologram suddenly morph from one facing side to the other and slam this dagger down into the chest of one of your friends. However, what you notice is this dagger, as it slams down, doesn't catch her with the main blade. It catches her with the side blade of the diktok. So it hooks into her chest, but doesn't actually penetrate with the full blade. But it is enough to cause terrible damage, tearing open the front part of your uniform and causing blood to gush forward all down the front of your uniform, darkening the colors. As you stagger back, this thing looks like he's ready to go in for the kill in the next attack. The complication that I'm going to enact is the injury is vicious enough that it causes you to drop your weapon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You lose a little bit of motor control in your arm suddenly as pain explodes throughout your body. And right about now in the control room, Starfleet is realizing this shit is real and the safety protocols are not on. That's his action. What are you guys doing?
Attacking.
Okay.
They're about to do the killing blow on her, I'm assuming, on Thran.
He's used his actions for the round.
Right.
So
I would like to mentally try and project I don't even know if I'm able to do this.
From what I understand, Betazoids, unless you're engaged with
other telepaths, and I'm assuming this creature might be, maybe, possibly. I don't know.
There's no basis for the assumption. Yeah, you just know that it's a photonic life form of some kind, or inhabiting a photonic body.
Well, then because I know they're holding up at the doors, I'm going to attempt to grab its attention with a melee fight and use a value in order to
What
really.
value?
Don't judge a book by its cover. Read your enemy like a book.
Okay, so you're going to
So
spend
I'm
that
going to
point
basically determination to read them well enough to where I can kind of sense what their weak points are, when they're going to take a blow or when they're going to try and blow.
So so are you stabbing him? Are you stabbing him with a dagger? Are you tackling him? What do you?
I have a maclith, so I'm engaging him in combat basically and hitting him.
Okay, you have the mechleth. The mechleth is no joke.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and cut his tendons. of his ankles, so he's unable to get to anyone else.
A vicious disabling attack.
Let's just see how far he can crawl.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Very intense right now.
Then go ahead and make your roll. This is going to be a daring security check.
Yes. I'm gonna take one. And
I'm gonna take a point of threat.
I've already got one of these.
I'm down to 1.
Oh, I can't take a momentum if I've already burned determination, correct? For an extra die, is that?
Oh, sure you can. Yes.
yeah,
you
no,
just
you can.
can't roll a total of 5.
That's right.
Right.
Oh, lovely. And I spent for extra die. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
You were going to beat him in net 2.
Net 2 momentum.
Yes.
Net 2 momentum.
Excellent.
You're going to hit him with the mechleth, and you're going. So the way this would work is it's not necessarily so much of a called shot. You're basically going to try to enact an injury upon him.
Correct.
So go ahead and make your roll. This is going to be ugly.
All right.
So what is your security rating?
4.
And the mechleth is a damage rating 2, so it's 6 total.
And it's vicious with opportunity 1. So go ahead and make your challenge dice roll.
This is gonna hurt.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 3 effects.
Should I spend a momentum to re-roll? Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. 8 damage.
Okay, that
I
is
think that's
about 8 damage. Let me roll his resistance.
I am pissed.
Yeah, you are.
Ugh.
Ooh. So he only takes 4 points of damage. That is a wicked good roll. He has a mighty resistance, being a photonic being.
Right.
So he takes
We could
4.
we could spend 1 momentum for penetration on this attack. The damage inflicted by current attack ignores 2 resistance.
Yeah, he has a 4 resistance, which is insane.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna take one of those momentums.
So he's going to take all 8 then. Gonna burn that momentum. That's going to be an injury, to say the least. However, since he is a major NPC, I can continue to spend threat to shrug off injury as many times as I want. Unfortunately, I only have 1 threat. So he goes down. So the mechleth, you charge forward after you see this injury. It's that shocking moment where you see Thran take this disgusting lethal slash across her chest, and as she stumbles back, staring at herself, the motor control in her hand, the dagger clashing to the ground as she stares at herself in kind of shock. As the rage just fills you for a second there, Cadix, you lunge forward with this mechleth, and you begin to appreciate the balance and lethality of this weapon, because as you bring it back, you can feel the heft in your swing. And you know when you swing down, it's going to have that snap. And sure enough, that secondary blade, as you make contact with it, you hit him in the back of his thigh. And there is a gush of black and dark purple Klingon blood splattered all over across the floor. And he throws his head back for a second. No scream in pain, but the hologram drops down to his knees as the injury basically removes him from combat. He goes down to his knees and topples over, grabbing at his leg. Not incapacitated, however. He's on the ground and at disadvantage, and he's functioning as if he has injury. However, he is not deleted, as it were. The hologram is still functioning. So you see him looking up at you, and that's
We don't want him to delete. Yeah.
You've actually managed to successfully remove his ability to use move as a minor action this turn, or any other turns. So that's your action. Who wants to go next?
Do we have Klingons at our door yet?
What's that?
We don't have Klingons on our door yet?
Not yet.
As long as it looks like Cadix and Thran have things under control, I'm probably going to stay here unless because I don't have any first aid ability. I cannot help you, Thran.
Super under control.
Let's do this, because in truth, until the Klingons arrive, until next turn, there's nothing, like, it's really a holding action for everybody, unless you've got something. I see somebody named Cyril raising their hand.
Just that even if Danon isn't particularly trained in medicine because their hand-to-hand skill is so outstanding and based on high daring, and first aid is a daring medicine check.
Yep.
Danon may actually be our best medic, our cleric, if you will.
God damn you, Sam.
You know your number is the best.
God
I
damn
just
it.
say true things. You
let me tell you
built
this.
an accidental cleric inside your blasty.
We did not bring a healer.
You've got 2 rounds before the Klingons arrive. So, Danon, if you wanted to leave your post and administer first aid to Thran, you could do that this round. It's a difficulty
Since I have been read for filth by one Samdalev, yes, I will do that.
Okay, so you rush over, tearing off a piece of your uniform. The cut.
Sorry, you were red for health.
I'm sorry?
Just saying that you were red for health.
Right. All right, so go ahead and make a daring medicine check. The difficulty is 2.
You can use a determination to reroll.
You
muted.
muted yourself.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. I am going to burn the value. I am one of a larger whole.
That's perfect. Teamwork. Teamwork makes dream work. All right, so you get a reroll.
I still did not succeed, but at least I didn't.
At least you didn't juice up my threat pool with complications.
Yes.
Yeah, because all I need to do right now is get more threat, and I can be a total jerk to all of you. All right, so when you rush over to her, you tear off a piece of your uniform and you press the cloth against the wound. But when you get up there, Donan, and you see the wound, it's bad. It looks like the musculature has been severed, and you can see the white of bone underneath the skin. She has taken a deep, deep cut.
We need to get you.
There's probably internal damage. For you, Thran, there's this intense burning sensation in your chest and a terrifying numbing sensation that is spread up into your shoulder.
I can't feel my shoulder. I cannot feel my shoulder.
Well, I can see your shoulder, and it's not good. So how about we kind of try and move you out of the way so that when the Klingons get in here, they're not running you over. I'm going to try and at least move her into like a safer position.
Well, she is up and moving.
I'm going to try and go up.
Oh, you're going to try to what?
I'm going to try. I don't know if this counts as a turn, but I want to try and climb the walls so I can get out of stabbing range of a Klingon.
I'm going to rule with your arm in the condition that it is and your lack of motor control that climbing is not going to be a possibility right now.
Climbing, then we're going to go hide. That's what we're going to do.
You do have your dagger on the ground. You can put it in the other hand and take it with you if you want.
Yes, the dagger's going to come with me just in case.
So holding this cloth, you move over to the side. What's up? I see you raising your hand there.
I have holodeck controls, right?
You're going to have control over... Yes, you have minor control over the holodeck right now.
So I could, for instance, load in an established hologram, a medical hologram.
Would you like to summon the EMH?
I would like to activate EMH.
So go ahead. I would say in order to access an EMH program, the ability to do that is now present because you succeeded on your roll, but this would be creating an advantage. So I would ask for a 2-point momentum spend to summon a fully functional EMH that will actually be able to join the scene with the rest of you for the rest of the scene.
That would be the last momentum. Just FYI, we're down to 0. Also, will this jump into the EMH? Oh, God.
That's a risk that we have to take. Are you sure you can't make me roll for it? We're momentum poor right now, and I'm good at computers.
But that's the whole purpose of the GM is to burn down your momentum to make things scary. I tell you what, you did roll pretty spectacularly, and I am kind of putting y'all in like this is the Battle of the Alamo essentially. So I tell you what, I'll go ahead and this one time I'll say that yes, you were able to access. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to award myself 1 threat. And that's my trade-off.
Fine, we're taking the 2 momentum then.
Okay.
That's better than threat. I can't give you 2 threat. That is too many. That is too many. 2 threat!
I will tell you this. If I had 2 threat, I would not be able to spin to avoid injury for the dude who's down because that time has come and gone. I would not be able to spin threat to insta-heal myself.
I don't trust you with any number of threat.
That is totally fair, because clearly I know how to use it in this campaign. So, all right. So, there's a shimmering in the air, and suddenly you see this slightly balding man, a Mark I, appears right in front of you, and he just goes, "Please state the nature of the medical emergency. Where am I?" As he kind of glances.
I can't feel my shoulder. You can kind of see my shoulder.
Ah, yes, it would appear that you have a hole in it. I don't know if anyone's told you, but medically that is not wise to have. I'll just take some dermal regeneration here. If you could please keep the noise down. There seems to be Klingons outside the door. He's going to make a roll here for you.
Great.
Actually,
I'm
have the
just in
stats.
pain. I'm in pain. I'm giving him full access to my injury right now. Thran is out of reaction.
Tear that down. He looks at it and just says, "A dermal regeneration should do the trick.
We're
If
very
you don't
calm
mind
about
holding
this.
still and talking less, Cadet, would be also preferable."
I love the EMH.
What
Okay.
the professor said.
Luckily, I actually have the EMHs. Okay, you successfully receive first aid. Now, he's not going to be able to remove the injury. He can't do that here, but he's removed the effect of that second injury.
Okay.
So, essentially, you are now 1 injury away from death, as opposed to on death's door.
Great.
So you'll be able to.
Thank
But
you.
here's the problem, though. The problem is that you don't have the capacity to spend momentum to shrug off another injury, and you've burned your determination. So if you take another injury, you're still in a lot of trouble.
Right. I'm letting my teammates know it's. I'm gonna hang back here. I don't think I can take another hit. To the group.
Oh, okay.
The doctor just says, "Agreed. I don't think you should be stabbed at all anymore. In fact, for the rest of you, you're under strict medical orders not to be stabbed. You don't have the resolute fortitude of a denobulin. And I don't have the patience to continue treating stab wounds. Where are we? Has anyone told me that yet?" And he looks around. And then about that point, you're slamming on the door as Klingons have arrived.
I would like to take my action.
What are you going to do?
Now that we are finally looking up from our data pads and my pure instinct drags my body straight to Thran, and I instinctually put myself between them and any possible threat. And I'm holding my action. I would have done any first aid necessary, but there is a more professional, adequate lieutenant here now, and I will now position myself to protect as further forward from this point as I possibly can.
Okay.
And I don't have a weapon, so I'm my body is the weapon, and I'm holding my turn in front of you.
Okay, so you do that, and I say, "What are you doing?" Cyril needs help.
The program is already in place.
I take my Deftach, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And I put it in your hand.
Excellent. A weapon to further protect you.
Go help Cyril.
Cyril's program is already in effect. I cannot leave you. You are an injured cadet.
I have nothing to say to that.
Let me love you.
Logical.
All right. What is everybody else doing as we wrap up this round? Because I believe Xander, Jatara has not acted yet.
Yeah, if Jatara is also taking aim at the back door, waiting for a breach. So if the Klingons have breached the door, then I will start firing. But until then, I will wait until they come through.
Okay, I'm gonna rule because this is basically a sped up process now. I'm gonna rule that next round they're going to breach the door, but because you are prepared for it, you are going to get your action.
Okay.
And just so you know, Donan, you are still going to have the capacity to set up for the attack as well. The first aid, the action was this round that was rendered. You can now get in position once again as you're all starting to hear the doors coming down. The Klingons are smashing through. It's also worth noting, too, that on the other side of your door, Xander, you can actually see fingers starting to penetrate through the cracks in the door as they're trying to force it open. On the other side of your door, Dannon, you can hear what sounds like Klingons accessing the control pad to override and open the door. Top of the round, then. On the top of the round, you witness something that will probably haunt your nightmares for some time to come. Because the photonic being that is possessing this Klingon's body has decided not to play by the normal rules of the way this Klingon's body is supposed to behave in a normal world. And you hear popping and cracking sounds as this Klingon suddenly shifts and starts warping, and his limbs pop out of their sockets, and it folds up into standing on 3 limbs, hands and 1 leg, almost like in a tripod effect. Its head cracks and spins around to the side so it can see you directly. It's at that point where you see a rippling effect taking place in the hologram, and the doctor pauses the menstruations and stares at this Klingon and says, "I don't think a chiropractor is going to help him." And at that moment, this thing starts hopping towards you guys. And as it does, there's this other rippling effect where you see Dick-Tock blades begin to appear in its flesh, spiking out of the skin, just and using that high-pitched screech, this life form comes bounding towards you. I'm going to roll randomly to find out who is getting it. Meanwhile, I should tell you, Cyril, you are watching the program get warped and manipulated at this point. It has almost as much control over the holodeck as you do. And instead of exerting it to save itself, it's throwing everything it has into trying to kill someone. So I'm going to roll a d6, and it's going to pick a target. It's coming for Cyril. Seeing that one of these people on the ground is guarded, seeing the other people armed, seeing that Cyril is over by the data pad, it identifies Cyril, it sees you and realizes you were the one that it's fighting with for control of the reality that you were all in. And it just lopes over to you like this twisted werewolf with only 3 limbs just comes bounding in a twisted, gnarled fashion. It is horrifying to watch. And again, that screeching noise as the Klingon's head folds backwards and its mouth cracks open way beyond what it should be able to extend to. It's going to make a melee attack against you. You're all kind of frozen in disbelief seeing this sight of this horrifying sight.
When did this become a Call of Cthulhu game? I don't remember signing up for this.
All right, so this is going to be a melee attack.
I'm so here for this.
The Death of Cthulhu. Let's go. I'm going to roll 2d20 because we do not have momentum, and I'm not giving you threat. I want to live.
I'm going to spend my last remaining threat.
I know.
To add a d20.
I know.
All right, make your roll.
3 successes.
3 successes.
You're the worst. Hey, I spent down his threat, you guys.
Yeah, I'm out of threat. It is true. I am out of threat. Here comes the pain train. All right.
Roll like butts. Please.
Good news is I can't spend threat to re-roll this.
Butts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of damage.
I told you how you were supposed to roll, and you didn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
cool. So I am. Ouch.
Yeah, that's an injury.
Mm-hmm. If only there were any MH.
Right. It happens so fast. There's the popping sounds. You see it coming. You guys watch as this creature bounds and lopes over. There's that screeching noise. People move to intercept, but it's too late. This thing doesn't actually swipe at Cyril. It throws itself at Cyril like using its body and the protrusions of these holographically created dictocs in its chest to literally become a ball of spikes and throw itself, screeching on top of Cyril. Cyril, when this thing impacts with your body, you feel the blades penetrating your chest. You feel the slashes on your arm, and you feel the weight of this creature coming down on top of you. Pain explodes throughout your body, and you just feel this pressing weight as you start to black out from the shock.
So, as I see this happening, I've been readying myself at this door, but of course the transformation and the noise of the attack draws my attention over there. And as I see this taking place, I rise from where I was and sort of calmly sprint over to where this creature is now over Cyril. And instead of attacking it, I move forward quickly and place my fingers on the side of its head. And I say, my mind to your mind, my thoughts to your thoughts.
Is that a roll?
I don't know.
Oh my god! I'm so excited.
I tell you what, because this is cool, make it a daring security check.
Great, then I don't want to give you any more threat, so yes, I will.
Make a daring security check.
Okay. I would like to burn a determination.
Do it.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And also see beyond the scan. I would like to use that as my determination because I'm trying to connect with it beyond the physical.
Yes, I'll allow that. Go ahead.
Whew. Okay, so I have automatically 2 successes. And then a complication. I rolled a 20.
I'm gonna thank that, Brett. You immediately rush over. What's disturbing about this in particular, Jatara, is as you rush over, you can see that Cyril is in a lot of trouble underneath this creature, but they're stuck to the creature. The nature of the dictoc blades, the way they're angled, makes them basically like giant barbed wire daggers. And you see Cyril is in sort of this state of shock where they're kind of, it doesn't look like their body is processing the trauma that they've experienced. And instead, they're just kind of weakly trying to push this creature off of them.
And it would do more damage to remove the blades from where they are than to keep them.
I wouldn't. I'm not going to be vicious about that. I'm going to say that the damage that was done was essentially the damage that would be done to have pulled the blades out. So this is more of just like a narrative effect where you see how much trouble Cyril is in. So as you move over to Cyril and you see this creature, you immediately put your hands against the side of its face, and its eyes dart to you. The moment you do, you say, "My mind to your mind," and it freezes for a second, and you meld. The mind, there is a living consciousness inside this photonic creature. I'm going to spend that threat that you just gave me to enact a complication because your mind is flooded with terrifying thoughts of your future. The things that this creature has seen, what it plans on doing. You meld with its mind, and you see that throughout the course of the history of the Federation, their species has been sprinkling in deviations in the timeline to try to run the Federation out of existence. And the Federation isn't the only one. The Klingon Empire, the Romulan Star Empire, the Cardassian Union, the Ferengi, governments you've never even heard of. This race has been responsible for jumping through time and trying to manipulate past for a long time now. And they have not had much success until they were able to understand how to do this through photons, essentially, being able to project themselves through artificial constructs. You're seeing disjointed images of things you can't truly comprehend or understand. They're all flying at you at once, like Spock melding with V'ger. It's just smashing into your consciousness. It's overloading what your senses are capable of doing. You see this creature's plan to kill all 6 of you. And then you see a flash of something that it probably didn't intend for you to see. 6 of you, all 6 of you, in the exact same uniform as Daniel's. All 6 of you wearing Temporal Defense Initiative uniforms. You look slightly older. And it looks like the six of you are gathered around a war table looking up, where you see timeline stringed events all across, and all of you pulling weapons as a temporal explosion is taking place behind it. You see realities being smashed together, a doorway opening to the mirror universe, and then suddenly shifting once again to this universe, and then shifting back as timelines are spreading across. And as this overload happens, the two of you basically wrench each other apart and burst off in the opposite directions. He's going to lose all of his actions for the next round, and I'm going to rule that Jatal, you are too. That both of you just collapse to the ground, and you are trembling and just kind of like, as you're seeing multiple timelines exploding through your head. That's his action.
What round are we on?
This is technically next round is when the Klingons are going to be popping through. But you do hear a chirping sound from Cyril's datapad indicating that all the Klingons are currently in the process of being deleted.
I want to just get a quick vibe check, I guess, of what I can hear through my door at the moment, because the moment I see Jatar on the ground, I'm immediately distracted. But I want to do a quick check-in to see what's going on.
They're coming through that door next turn.
Cool. So Donan sees Jatar go down, calls out to him, and then immediately is like, "No, stay on mission," and turns back towards the door and repositions their disruptor, and they kind of just like, I don't know who's going to take care of that thing, but somebody needs to now.
All right.
To be clear, when the creature was blown back, did Cyril go with them, or were they removed from the spikes on the chest?
Cyril's been liberated from this creature. They are laying currently on their back, staring up at the ceiling, and their hands are just, they don't look like they're actually seeing what's happening. It looks like they're in shock. Their body is trembling, and they're just staring at the ceiling for a second. Cyril, you have started to glance down to see what has happened to you, and you are seeing things that you've never seen on your body before. Just a curtain of blood that is soaked into your uniform.
Is this a fresh round? I'm just curious who's left to go. Is this the fresh round?
You used your action as a minor action to position yourself between Ravity and this creature. So you actually technically have an action.
Great. Perfect. Then I will take this opportunity now, as it's down on the ground, to take the deck talk that I have, and I'm going to use my Vulcan strength to the best of my ability to shove it through its entire body to pin it to the ground.
Ooh. I am completely out of threat, so I cannot defend myself, and I'm prone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rule this to be a difficulty 0 task.
Right. Let's see if we can get some momentum.
And so go ahead and make your roll. This is a daring security check with a difficulty of 0. It would normally be 1 because it's melee, but I can't defend myself. And I'm prone.
Fitness?
No. This is daring.
Got it.
But if you generate enough momentum here, I'll let you spend 2 momentum to create the advantage of pinning this thing to the ground.
Can I spend one of my values?
Yeah, you haven't yet. If I don't remember.
I haven't.
Yeah.
One of my values is the quickest way is a straight line.
That's a good. Okay. Yeah, I think that would. No, yeah.
So 2 successes.
2 successes right off the top. Go ahead and make your roll. What's that face?
5 successes.
Ooh, 5 momentums. 2 is spent. I'm letting you create an advantage, so you get 3 total. You slam that diktak down into the chest of this creature. It immediately morphs so it can face you. But as it does, it tries to reach out, but its legs are still cracked and torn into the opposite direction. So it can't reach up and try to wrap around you. And you feel the definitive, thudding noise that only Vulcan, with that kind of power behind your arms, the strength of this Vulcan, you guys can hear metal on metal as this dagger penetrates the dirt floor and hits bottom and pins this thing right to the ground like a butterfly.
You don't get to hurt my friends anymore. They are too important. We are too important. I am too important.
It roars at you in futility, screeches at you as it tries to pop its limbs back to grasp at you, but it's currently unable to get to you. It looks like pure nightmare, just pinned to the ground. I think that was the last action for the round. So we're at the top of the round. Normally, this thing would probably be going first, except for it's using this round to try to dislodge that dagger. I can't remove that trait until I get some threat, and I don't have any, so it's stuck. It is pinned. I'm going to rule that in 3 rounds, I'll say in 3 rounds, it will eventually be able to force its way up again, but for 3 rounds, that thing is pinned down to the ground. And that'll be the effect of your 2-point momentum spend for advantage.
This is our last round, correct?
This is technically the last round, yes. You're just going to have to fend off the Klingons that are charging in right now. 6 are going to get in on both sides. So 6 total, so 3 on both sides.
I was going to say, as a minor action, seeing all of this take place and seeing Navarre pin the creature down, and you're still obviously not passed out, but down. As a minor action, can I grab the disruptor that you dropped and take a stand at the other door? Just because I know that something would happen. All right.
You wouldn't be able to move to the other door, but you don't need to. You've got a ranged attack, so you can use your minor action to pick up the pistol off the ground. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Top of the round. The door's open. Klingons are pouring in. 3 are going to get in on each side. You guys have first attack on this. So who is stationed at the door? We know we have Danon, and we know we have Cadix. Cadix?
Cadix.
Is that correct? Cadix. Okay, so I'm going to say, Danon, why don't you go ahead and make your roll first?
Sure. I do have a question that I want to ask our person over there who knows combat real well, Mr. Xander Generay. What the Swift task momentum spend is all about.
For that, it's to do an additional task in your turn. So if you wanted to do things, but I should say that switching a target also costs momentum to shoot multiple things. So Swift task would be attempt 1 additional task, increasing the difficulty by 1 over what the task would normally require, and also secondary target. Both of those are 2 momentum spends.
Okay, and where are we currently at on momentum? Just 2?
I believe 3.
3.
3? All right. I think I want to leave those so that other people have extra rolls, because I have focuses, so I'm going to be okay, I think. I'm going to go ahead and I will use my combat tactics to make sure I'm in an advantageous position to take one of these mofos out.
Okay. Well, the good news is these guys are minions. So you only need to injure them to get rid of them. So go ahead and make your roll. The difficulty is 2. This is a control security check.
Sure. That is 2 successes.
That'll hit.
Plus 2 successes. And then how many effect die am I rolling here?
So you're using a disruptor, and those are nasty as hell. So it's a 3 base, and then you add your security rating to it.
So I'm rolling 7 effect die? Is that correct? Jesus. Okay.
That's why this guy, this knifey guy in the background was able to do so much lethal damage, because he has a viciously high security rating.
Hey,
all right,
don't
so
remind me.
I kind of rolled butts here, but that's okay. I rolled 2 6s and a 5, and then all the rest of them were nothing.
That's 6 points of damage. You still do an injury, and that will take that Klingon down. You basically vaporize that Klingon. As he comes through the door, there's a screaming noise and he just blinks out of existence as the disruptive energy slams into his chest and eats his body alive. You just see him phase out of existence, and there's a stench that fills the air.
By the way, I can tell that the gods have smiled upon the Jatar and Danon relationship, because I rolled 2 13s.
All right, who's next? That's going to be that's going to be our Betazoid, isn't it? Cadix, you've got a shot.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty
no, it's
sure.
actually their round. They actually get to go. It's their turn.
Oh, great.
Unless you guys want to spend to keep initiative.
That might be good in this instance.
Since we have 2 injured.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd say let's do that.
All right, spend 2 momentum to keep the initiative, and then it's going to be your turn, Cadix.
All right. I'm going to shoot because that's the logical thing to do, as my dear Vulcan friends would say.
All right. Yeah, you've got a lot of targets. So do you want to shoot at the one on Danon's side, or do you want to shoot the one on the other side?
I'm going to turn and shoot the one on the other side because I trust Danon to cover that door.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and make a shot. The difficulty is 2. It is a control security check with that disruptor pistol.
Pretty much back to back. I'm going to take that last one for momentum.
All right.
39.
Disruptor bolts firing off green energy.
Oh, Lord. Ooh! 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 Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I crit, but I also rolled a 20.
Excellent.
Great.
I'll bank that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're going to crit. So that's 2 successes. That hits. Go ahead and roll your damage. Base of 3 plus your security.
Okay, but first I want to use my untapped potentials to try and get momentum for us.
Okay.
When succeeding at a task that I bought a d20 on, I roll 1d6. I should probably... Or when, yeah. And then I'll receive the bonus momentum equal to the roll.
Pretty gnarly.
Oh, no.
I feel you. I feel you.
So, yes, we get a momentum, but you also get an effect. Or you also get a threat.
Excellent.
I was just trying to get us. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to get us.
No,
This
it's
is
okay.
how
I
I
remember-
die.
I gotta say, that's one of the things that was great about Lark too, is because you were able to pull that thing out, and occasionally, man, when that stuff worked, it worked great.
Oh,
So
yes.
it is 9:30, but we're gonna go into overtime if you guys are cool and wrap up this section. Is that good for everybody else? Are we good on time? I hope you at home are enjoying the game so far. We're gonna keep going. I know everyone in chat is like, okay, here comes the cliffhanger, y'all. It's coming. We're gonna keep going until we wrap this up. We're very
I would
close
fall
to the
off
end
the
here.
cliff. I'm just flat. You can't keep hanging.
All right, so you
All right,
gave me 2 threat.
Yeah. No, just one.
Just one?
One threat.
Just
One threat.
Oh,
if
you
it's
gave-
rolled.
But you also rolled a 20.
You also rolled a 20.
You just rolled a 20,
Oh,
so
I
you gave me 2
did
threat.
roll a 20. Oh,
Yeah.
bother. Oh, crap.
Oh, bother.
Well, let's roll damage at least.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage. Tell me what you get. You only need 5.
1, 2,
got
3,
it.
4, 5 with 2 effects.
Okay.
So,
This bolt, this disruptor bolt clips this Klingon. You're not sure what exactly happened, but you see what looks like a tuft of hair as part of his head vanishes from view, and he spins and collapses to the ground. The rest of the Klingons are charging in now.
I just want to say a little bit off the top.
Hey,
Because he got a haircut. and I'm muting.
if I remember correctly, that's a James Bond quote too. So, all right. So there's 4 Klingons, all with disruptors trained, and they are going to open fire on all of you, except for Cyril, because if I want to shoot Cyril, I got to spend a point of threat, and though I do have it, I want to use that to try to kill the rest of you. So, Star Trek Adventures combat is lethal. Does not fuck around. Who's this going to be? So I'm going to roll a d6.
While you're rolling to murder us all, can I get a clarification on how many more rounds we have before the program is locked in place
This
and
is
we
it.
can execute?
This
This is the end? Okay,
This is it. You just got to survive this round.
got it.
So this bolt actually is going to be headed towards. Unfortunately, this shot is headed straight at Thran. And the good news, though, is you guys have Thran in a position where she is kind of guarded. You took precautions to protect her because you knew she was injured. So I'm going to raise the difficulty by 1 for the shot. So instead of 2, he needs a 3. I'm going to spend a point of threat for a 3rd die. And here we go. Nope. I miss. Down to 1 threat. Bolt of disruptor energy smashes into the wall next to you, and you can feel the heat and electrical energy coming off the disruptor blast, Thran. You were this close. It's now you guys' turn. Who wants to act?
I dock I look to Cyril, and I think can I move towards them and basically assist them into like a more secure position?
So let me give you this. I'll give you this. Cyril is actually going to be taken care of by the doctor this round.
Okay, great.
So you guys don't have to worry. You guys can focus completely on defense because Cyril went ahead and did the effect and got an EMH in there, so it's going to do its job. And it's going to try to stabilize Cyril this turn.
Great, awesome. And then in that case, I think that I literally want to just keep protecting myself because I'm
going to shoot?
Wait,
you gave the disruptor away, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
I got nothing. So someone else wants to go first, and then if something comes up, I can go.
So what we
It's
can
not
do
a disruptor, it's a
You can do
TikTok.
disruptor.
Hold up. What was that, Gina?
Oh, I thought she gave me a deck talk. Did you also have a disruptor?
No, I did not have a disruptor. I meant the.
Okay, so it was a dick
I
knock.
meant the one weapon I had. I gave away.
And then you pinned the guy to the ground with it. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Good.
So
Super hot.
then we're going to do this. On your action then, the doctor's going to go stabilize Cyril. And that's what we'll do. So he's going to move over to you.
Awesome.
And he doesn't have any quips, but he just has this furrowed brow as he pulls out the tricorder and pulls out the dermal regenerator immediately and says, "This will stabilize you. Try to keep still. It's going to be all right." It is going to be all right. Gain a momentum. As the doctor stabilizes Cyril, you get some first aid treatment right away. He just looks at you and says, "Try not to move."
Not a problem, Doc.
You feel the pain through the hypo spray, and then the dermal regeneration immediately bleeds away. There's a stiffness, but you're suddenly starting to become cognizant of everything that happened, the thing you saw, what happened to you, but the pain goes away as he begins to trace this line of energy down your chest and regenerate your skin. He says, "This is going to stabilize you for now, but I recommend that you stay down."
So Jatar has been sort of incapacitated because of this overwhelming information that he received through the mind meld. Even though he is sort of taking all of this in, he is going to utilize his mental skills as sort of like a pressure release, in that he's going to transfer some of it to Cadix. So some of the sort of to regain composure type of thing, I'm sharing the information that I gleaned telepathically
To heal yourself.
to heal myself in a way.
Oh, so you're going to try to share the burden, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is something. So is this how you're basically rationalizing like being able to act this turn, even though you were going to be able to anyway, or what?
Oh no, I would not be able to act this turn, but I'm saying this is what I'm doing instead.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that means, Cadix, you would be able to feel the anguish of your Vulcan friend. And he reaches up with a shaking hand. You kind of get the gist of what he's trying to do. It's going to be dangerous because you don't know what you're about to see, Cadix. But here it comes, if you're willing to accept it. Okay. So it's going to be their action now. So okay. Dude, I don't know why, but they really, really, really just want to kill themselves a denobulin.
Are you freaking kidding me?
So another blaster bolt, another disruptor fire.
Stop!
Oh boy.
I miss.
Oh boy.
So the area where you're at right now is just bursting with steam and smoke as these disruptor energy bolts smashing into the wall behind you. And it's your actions again.
They're like stormtroopers.
Let me know if this is possible. I currently have the thing into the ground with the weapon that I had.
Yeah.
And it is also made of Dectox.
It has blades coming out of its skin. So
Can
they're
I
like
rip
Dick
one
blade.
of them out without, because I don't want to remove the one that's pinning it down. I want to rip one off of its body.
If you are willing to take 2 points to your stress as an injury for grabbing a blade with your bare hands and tearing it free, I'll allow it.
I'm Vulcan raging. They're shooting at my crush.
Gina, this is the most metal fucking thing I've ever seen you do. All right. I'm not gonna. If you're willing to take the 2 points damage, I'm not gonna have you roll for it. You reach down with Vulcan strength, grip the blade, digging in. The blood begins to pool in your palm as you snap this blade free from the body of this creature. You're holding the naked blade of this Diktok with your bare hands, and you're going to stab at one of these Klingons.
I am, and just quietly under my breath, as I'm my Vulcan rage isn't so much screaming as it is internalized focus, and she's doing her monologue before, and she's just saying to herself, she's too important. And stab. Okay.
Make your roll.
What is it?
Daring security.
It's still daring. God damn it! This is my worst roll.
Unfortunately, it's daring security, but the difficulty is
I'm
only
buying
one.
a die.
Throwing knife.
Friend.
Throwing knife would be a ranged weapon. Throw it at him.
Oh,
Control
okay. I
security.
would. Oh, yeah. He's too far from me too, because I do want to stay by the body.
Okay.
I would throw the knife.
Okay.
Like a
Shuriken.
rip. Aiming for the throat.
So the difficulty will then be 2, and it's control security now.
Control security. Okay.
I mean,
even better.
Okay. Because it is being used, it's not a full hilted weapon. I'm going to reduce the the damage is already 1. I'm going to take the vicious quality off of it. That'll be my compromise to you for throwing this blade.
What does that mean?
It means if you roll effects, it won't count as an extra point of damage. Doesn't mean you can't still do monster damage by spending momentum if you wanted to. But you only need to do 5. So go ahead and, did you make your roll?
Not yet. I'm going to be spending 1 to buy a die.
Okay. That'll generate momentum. Nasty. You just need 2 successes. Oh, you're muted.
Three successes.
You just threw a blade into this thing. So go ahead and roll damage and you gain a momentum.
Okay, so what is how many damage dice am I rolling for?
It's going to be your
this
security
kind of weapon?
+1. Your security rating +1.
Okay, so 5 dice. Okay.
That's pretty good. And you can use that momentum to re-roll any number of dice you need to if you want to try to kill this guy.
And I'm looking. Which ones am I looking for?
Okay, so ones and 2s counts for 1s and 2s. 5s and 6s count as a 1.
Great. 5s and 6s counts as 1.
Yeah, it counts as it's a little confusing because they're normally effects. 5s and 6s are effects, but they always count as 1 point.
Okay, well I have 3 5s, 1 1, and 1 2.
3 5s, 1 1, and 1 2. That's 5 damage. No, that's 6 damage.
That's 6.
It's a mixture of this creature's blood and the blood from your palm trailing behind this blade as it sails through the air and impacts into the neck of the Klingon, killing him instantly. Slams into the side of his neck and he gurgles for a second and looks at you wide-eyed. It actually causes one of the other Klingons to pause and look down at his friend as he just topples over dead. That is metal. Thudding body hitting the ground.
I must say, as an empath, I am getting a lot of emotions from my friends that I have not felt before. It is very
these are Vulcan emotions.
Yes, I know.
Coursing through her right now is almost more powerful than the meld that you're getting from Xander.
What is happening? My little brain hurts.
All right. So it's now going to be their action. That one of the Klingons, there's only 3 left now. One of them is going to attempt to shoot the Vulcan that just knifed his friend from a distance. So I need a 2
Absolutely not.
1 success. I do not succeed. It's the benefit of fighting minions, you guys. The stormtroopers of Star Trek. These minion characters. Who else hasn't acted yet? Oh, jeez. Okay. Our bloodletter in the party. All right, so what are you going to be doing? This is actually Danon. What are you doing, Danon?
Pew pew. I like to shoot, please.
Okay, so go ahead and make a roll. The difficulty is 2. It is controlled security.
And how much momentum do we currently have?
3, I believe.
3. I want. Is it okay for me to spend
4.
the 2?
4.
Yeah,
4. Is it okay for me to spend 2 for swift task so that I can shoot 2 people? Cool. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend the 2 momentum so I can get swift task so I can shoot 2 targets.
So you can basically pull a high noon.
Yeah.
You can also take a minor action to aim that will let you reroll 1d20.
Then I will do that.
Yeah. All right. Reroll taken.
Yeah, because I just rolled a 2 and a 4, and with my combat tactics, I believe those are both crits.
That's 4 successes.
Yes, for the first shot.
Bank 2 momentum.
And then I'll go ahead and do my I'll just go ahead and shoot the second time, so that we can go ahead and get that out of the way. That is going to also be 2 success. Wait, no, sorry. Yes, that'll be 2 successes.
That'll hit. You're going to shoot 2 of them.
Yep, and then that's 7 die, correct, I believe?
3
For
points on the
each.
disruptor plus your security. So roll for the first one.
Just a quick point of order on the second one, because the secondary target for the spend takes half damage rounding down.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, so I didn't roll great, but it's a 6, 2, 1 on the first one.
So it's vicious. So 6 counts as 2.
So,
So 4, you hit 5. You hit the 5 threshold.
cool.
So that one is going to die. Now the next one is going to
Cool.
take half damage, whatever you roll.
Oh God, I rolled butts. Only 2 5s.
You can spend a momentum to reroll damage dice.
Yes, I will. I will re-roll these 5 die.
What's up, Sam? Okay, cool.
That's better. That's 4 5s and a 1.
4 5s and a 1.
Yes.
So 9 points of damage, rounded down. So he takes 4. He almost hits that threshold of dying in the second shot.
But you can spend, you can spend 1 more momentum for 1 more bonus damage.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, I'll do that.
Do it. And if you
I'll do
roll
it.
1 damage, you kill him.
Rolled a 6.
You roll 2 damage. Okay.
I'm
So-
built for one thing.
Danon basically high noons 2 of these Klingons. They come through the door, and just the razor reaction. You hear the screams of your friends, the shouting, the shouts of pain, the smell of disruptor fire, like scalding, burning the sides of walls. There's that sort of ionized, like scent in the air, like ozone. The screeching noise of this creature that's still trying to unplug itself from the ground. You just fight through all of it, pick your 2 targets, and send them both to Stovo Core. Bam, bam. 2 disruptor bolts, and both Klingons topple forward dead. 1 Klingon left.
I haven't taken my action yet either,
What are you going to do?
as I shot
Oh, wait,
earlier.
no, you don't get your action yet. They get their action now.
Oh, right. Goodbye.
Frog back to them. So, I'm going to roll here. Oh, different target this time. I'm going to spend 1 die to get 3. And I am shooting at Jatar. Floor die. It's okay. Okay, so I rolled 2 20s and a 4. That's going to miss. Jatar, you see this disruptor bolt fly right past you.
They are lacking in skill.
Well,
They shoot
all right.
themselves on
so
accident.
now it's your action, Bonnie. Tell me what Cadix is doing.
Okay, so I am feeling. I just see that Klingon shoot at you. I just got a bunch of crap from you. I'm feeling Navarre's rage. I'm feeling everyone's pain. I'm going crazy, and I'm just gonna run up
And there.
with the Maclith and and slice that Klingon in half like a sandwich.
Make your roll. Daring security. Difficulty is 1.
You're my baloney. I'm gonna take
We're
it.
about to watch somebody get hacked with a mechleth.
Spent 1 for an extra die.
I did.
And I thought I was the hacker.
Hey, there's the pun.
What? Wow.
I believe we're out of momentum.
We have 1 left, I believe.
All right. I got 1 success. That's horrible.
After her spend or her spend?
After. I think.
Yeah, and I can't spend
That's
momentum.
my math as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, have you used your determination this game?
I did. Remember, I didn't judge a book by its cover. I got
Right.
1 success.
That's gonna miss.
Is it?
Oh,
You
wait,
said difficulty
no,
1.
sorry, you're not using ranged combat. That's physical combat. You are gonna hit. Right? You only needed a 1. Okay, so go ahead and roll damage. The damage for a mechleth is 2 with vicious. So add 2 to your security roll.
Yep.
This is gonna be nasty.
I'm mad. I'm getting a lot of emotions from all of you. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage.
Okay. You send this Klingon to the afterlife. This mechleth buries itself right into the chest. You get an appreciation for how vicious this weapon is. Klingons know how to make blades. This thing cleaves right into his collarbone, which, by the way, as a Klingon is already tougher than a human collarbone, smashing into his chest cavity and killing him instantly. He drops to the ground, just kind of gurgling a little bit.
I had a
About that
9.
point, you see the creature that's pinned to the ground suddenly stiffen as this force field-like effect begins to ripple about his body, freezing him in place. As over the intercom you hear, "Computer, end program!" And y'all are bleeding out in the holodeck. You just see the yellowed lines, the grid of the holodeck all around you as combat comes to an end. However, the holographic Klingon is still frozen in place and is still present. You can see its body flickering in and out of existence as this monstrosity is attempting to leave its body, but it's frozen in place thanks to the trap set by Cyril. You have 1 action here before it escapes. Who's doing what?
Well, I'm right on it, and you've got a gun. So
Yeah, I was about to say we're supposed to kill this fucker, right?
yeah,
Yes.
Death
I
through its
I would like to shoot it.
Okay. You're gonna shoot it?
I would like to, if that is okay.
Yep. So it's prone. There's really no sense in rolling. It's an
and
execute.
grappled.
What's that?
Thrown and grappled. Pulled back
That's
to
true.
its chest.
However, Aki, it is worth noting that you were about to execute a helpless creature, which is going to reward me threat. But if it makes you feel any better, it doesn't matter.
And also, that is specifically our directive.
That is true.
We are not assassins, but we have been given a mission, and I am all about completing the mission. And if I have to, I will do what I have to do to protect my friends.
Okay, so you followed the directive. I'm awarded threat. And you basically you don't have to roll. This is an execution shot. There's not even a roll. So what happens? You have the narrative.
So I think that Donnan just kind of calmly walks over and sort of stands next to Jatar and sort of looks down at him. Are you going to be okay?
I shall be fine.
If you need any accompaniment, I play the pan flute, and then I'm going to shoot him.
The force field ripples and the energy penetrates through. You see it impact on the holographic body of this monstrous creature. And when you see the holographic body of the Klingon vaporize, and then you see the outline of a creature for a split second. It's just like the energy outline of a being that was inside this holographic figure, and it just is destroyed by the disruptor energy.
As the body fades from existence, Donnan just says, "May the prophets be with you."
As you fire that, by the way, the disruptor in your hand immediately evaporates as all of the weapons around you guys that had been altered for the safety protocols, the anomaly basically its control is shattered and all of the weapons just instantly vanish in your hands. Everything that was a part of its control sequence vanishes, and it is destroyed. There's just a smoldering, steaming mark coming up in the floor of the holodeck. When the two doors open and you see Starfleet personnel charging in, with medical personnel rushing over to Cyril and rushing over to Thran. All of you just look at each other for a moment, catching your breath. Out of this alien surrounding, looking at each other as you see medical doctors rushing over to Cyril, and immediately a hover bed entering into the room, and you see one of them waving it off, and you can hear just like an echoing of like emergency beam out to the sick bay, 2 to stand by, and one by one, y'all are immediately evacuated from the holodeck. Graduation the next day does not go forward. The Academy suspends all operations for 24 hours while an investigation is put into place. You are all thoroughly questioned, and a lot of the answers you give, does anyone here mention Daniels or the mission you were given? No?
I ain't no snitch.
I'm looking at you, Rave. I don't see a reaction. No? Okay.
I ain't no snitch.
The program attacked us.
There's a lot of questions because there was evidence that you knew an event might take place based off of security records that they were able to eventually recover, but not to the extent that they know exactly what you did.
It was simply the logical conclusion.
I tell
We
them
were
we couldn't-
studying.
There was enough variables in what took place that no one can lock down specifically what happened, but you all did seem unusually prepared for this and handled it with expert casing, with expertise.
It was a mission, just without safety protocols, sir.
What eventually is classified as a horrible malfunction of the holodeck facilities. All holodeck facilities are shut down until further notice. Each of you is given accommodation for your actions in saving your fellow cadets. And your graduation is postponed by 1 week while everyone recovers. So we're going to flash forward to the last scene. Graduation is tomorrow. Most of you have recovered, and most of you are out on the quad right now. The party, the group itself, is the only people out here. As the semester has come to an end, you are all talked about on campus. The news, the Federation news cycles have finally gotten a hold of what happened, and the Federation is currently being grilled about the safety of the holodecks, and it's even ignited that extreme point of view that holograms are dangerous, which inevitably leads to people talking once again about Commander Exio aboard the USS Ross and how that is a danger to the Federation. The Doctor, of course, once again appears on Federation News defending and saying that it was an anomalous event and that if anything was to be happening on the holodeck that was out of the ordinary, then it had to have been the result of either a simple malfunction, and then it goes into an explanation as a medical doctor how living biological creatures also have malfunctions. The only difference is that you can't paint the basis on the fact that you are all controlling an alternate reality through holographic projection, and just goes into a big tear. And as this is going back and forth, echoing in the background of everything that has happened, the six of you are sitting here in this empty space of this park that is Starfleet Academy. No flag officers or students walking through the area. The new semester doesn't start for another month. You're just sitting here like you did when we first began. Just the sounds of the water fountain in the distance and the occasional insect landing on the flowers that used to be tended by Boothby. It's quiet. And it's the first time the six of you have had a chance to reconnect and talk to each other. As you're standing there kind of reconnecting with each other, you glance up in time to see a familiar form walking up to you. Commander Daniels, approaching all of you. It's the first time you've seen him in a week. He steps forward and comes to a stop and says, I wanted to check in on all of you. I'm sorry I couldn't have been there earlier, but Starfleet has figured out that I might be an anomalous member of their staff, I guess is the best way to put it. Are you all doing okay?
Yes, it does bring me pleasure to see you again, Kitty.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to see that you all seem to be okay.
I mean, I'm certainly not forgetting that experience anytime soon. Good times.
All of the readings that I managed to get while we were in that simulation of the cyber attacks and the nature of the holographic intrusion, they're on this pad. So if it's going to help, and I hand Commander Daniels St. Patty.
He looks down at it and he takes it and he smiles at you and says, I know what this means.
I hope it helps.
And I believe you mind melded with it, didn't you? And he turns and looks at you, Jatar.
Yes.
He looks at you and he says, and you mind melded with it. And I believe you shared those memories with Cadix here.
Yes. Camo and I have shared those experiences, and I will share that the future, in one eventuality, is very promising for us.
He nods slowly, and he glances around and he says, this place looks a lot different from my time. A lot different. But I will say this, that of all the moments in the history that you have all been aware of, this place inspires generations for hundreds and hundreds of years. And what you all did, I get it now. I've worked in tandem with Federation before, but to see you all in action, risking your lives like that. He closes the data pad and holds it back, hands it back to you, Cyril. I'm going to present you with an option. You work pretty well as a team. How would you like to join the Temporal Defense Initiative?
Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. The answer is absolutely yes. What is this?
Absolutely.
I accept.
Now think about this. You're going to be leaving your time. You will be able to return to visit. We have a way of sort of making sure that you can get back almost as if you were never gone. But this kind of work, it's more than intelligence. You'll be helping us keep the timelines in place, and that means sometimes making some really, really hard decisions. It means sometimes you're going to have to be able to not save people that can't be saved. The timeline will depend on them not being saved. You're going to face down challenges that Starfleet hasn't prepared you for. If you think you're up for it, I'd like the 6 of you to join my team.
Sir, I've been an entire week for hopefully this exact question. I have thought of all the variables. I still accept.
Well then.
When I was young, I had an experience that told me that one day I would be meant for something bigger than I would understand. And I didn't know what that meant until now. And far be it from me to deny my faith and my purpose by saying no. Wherever my team goes, I follow them.
Well then, if you'll follow me, I'll debrief you. And bear with me, because the next hour, relatively, of your lives is going to be seeing some things about your future that are going to be kind of shocking to see. you're about to find out that this has already happened. And it was meant to happen. And you're going to see the clever ways in which we can get you out of Starfleet intelligence without raising questions. No need to pack your things. Shall we? And he extends his hand to everybody to stand. He motions everybody to stand up and join him. As everybody stands up, you see he taps on a data pad. And for a moment, somebody, a student watching across the quad, not a student, but a gentleman working on his off day, curly red hair, wearing a commander's uniform, stepping around the corner as he walks by a water fountain, just glances up at the last second to see the 7 of you vanish. And with a hushed tone in his breath, he just goes, "What the hell?" And that is where we end our one-shot of our new recruits in the Temporal Defense Initiative. Welcome to TDI, my friends. Yay, good game, everybody.
It's about time.
Commander Rogan.
That was Commander Rogan, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Had to have Commander Rogan. We went way over. This is the latest we've ever gone in one of our games. 10 p.m.
A whole 30 minutes over. How dare we?
I know. It's so decadent. We would have had Saxcar screaming at us by now. They would have just cut us off. That will conclude our game. This is our one-shot. Next week, we will be back with the Clear Skies main campaign and find out what's going on with this species we've just had first contact with. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know we went late. I hope you all enjoyed the hell out of that. If you guys liked it, maybe we'll see these kiddos again, hopping timelines and saving the universe. Who knows? That'll do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next Monday. Until then, stay whimsical as always, and hailing frequencies are closed.